Welcome to the channel. If you've never been here before, this is Movie Readings, where I take entire Hollywood scripts and read them from start to finish right here on YouTube. Today's reading is 2022's The Batman. This film is of course based on the famous DC Comics character Batman. Directed by Matt Reeves, the screenplay he wrote with Peter Craig stars Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne/Batman, alongside Zoë Kravitz, Paul Dano, Jeffrey Wright, John Turturro, Peter Sarsgaard, Serkis, and Colin Farrell. The film sees Batman, who has been fighting crime in Gotham City for 2 years, uncover corruption while pursuing the Riddler, played by Dano, a serial killer who targets Gotham's corrupt elite. I think real movie buffs really enjoyed this film. It was enjoyable for regular people as well. But in reading the screenplay, the script, I found a lot of cool nuggets about the story, the writing, that I think you guys will really enjoy, and hopefully you stick around and discover those insights with me on this reading of The Batman. I don't want to make this long, but this channel will never be monetized just by nature of what it is, so if you enjoy the content, support the channel by subscribing, sharing the video, and of course leaving a comment for what you would like to see as the next movie reading. I do read all of the comments, and I do try to get to all of the requests for movie readings, even though it's probably going to take me a long time to get to them all. Hope you guys enjoy this one. We open to a black screen, the quiet hum of city traffic and distant sirens. Gradually, we make something out, unnerving, right beside us. Someone breathing. A massive red title fades up. The Batman. It holds, then smashes out of the blackness to reveal an out-of-focus binocular point of view. We focus, searching the facade of an opulent townhouse. The breathing suddenly quiets as a shape appears in a window. A little red ninja gazes out, clutching a small sword. The ninja spins, brandishing the sword as two shapes enter behind him. A woman, late 30s, dressed as a witch, and a man, late 50s, in a well-cut suit. The little ninja rushes in, stabbing the man, who collapses melodramatically. The woman smiles and speaks to the ninja. He grabs a pumpkin candy bucket as they start to exit. The man sits up, yells after them. The ninja runs back for a hug. Finally, the ninja and the woman exit, leaving the man alone. He grows sober. As the man pulls himself up, the breathing beside us resumes. In the light of the flickering TV, we see now the man is handsome and distinguished. He stands, sipping scotch, watching the news. A chyron reads, Gotham mayoral race. Just released polls have incumbent Mayor Don Mitchell Jr. and 28-year-old grassroots challenger Bella Real in a dead heat. Things certainly got hot last night in their final debate before next Tuesday's election. As the man anxiously watches the debate clip, we realize he is Mayor Mitchell. His female challenger, Bella Real, young, intelligent, a force of nature, shares the stage. Now, my young opponent here wants to cut the Gotham Renewal Program, established by the great Thomas Wayne, cutting the funds for vital projects like our seawall and the safety net for those in need. The renewal program is broken. The city's been renewing for 20 years. Look where that's gotten us. Crime has skyrocketed. Now, wait a minute, hold on. Murder and drug use are at historic highs. We have a masked vigilante running the streets. Under my administration, the Gotham PD dealt major blows against organized crime and drug trafficking. The Salvatore Maroni case was the biggest drug bust in city history. But drops and other drugs are still rampant. It's gotten worse. I'm not saying there isn't work to do, but listen. I have a beautiful wife and son, okay? I will not rest until this city is safe for them. All our citizens. Mitchell turns, startled by a phone ringing.
as he exits frame to answer. We stay on a dark hall behind the study. On the wall by the doorway, we see a framed headline, Maroney Drug Bust, Mayor's Sting Operation Historic. As the TV brightens, we see for the first time someone is in the hall, barely visible. The figure wears a dark olive green hood, a homemade executioner's mask with prescription aviator glasses bizarrely outside the hood. Yeah, I'm watching GC1. As Mitchell paces in and out of frame, the figure's hooded head ominously tracks him. Why is she still tied? I thought we were getting a bump in the new post poll. Oh, you know what? I can't watch this anymore. Call me in the morning. We hear the phone hang up, and Mitchell re-enters the frame, agitated. As he shuts off the TV, the hall behind him suddenly goes dark, the figure no longer in sight. Mitchell stands there, drink in hand, starts to sip, as the figure lurches out of the dark, frantically clubbing him over and over. The weapon slips loose suddenly. It skitters right at us and stops, a gleaming metal tool. Whatever it is, it's wet with blood. The figure turns, panting, rises off the motionless victim, and trudges over to us. A gloved hand retrieves the strange weapon. The figure walks back, regarding the victim for a long, creepy moment, then stretches its arms as far as they will go, loudly unspooling a long piece of silver duct tape. With a low rumble of thunder, we slam into blackness again. We hear pattering rain as a hypnotic voiceover begins. Thursday, October 31st. A gas arc bulb burns to life, glowing brighter and brighter, revealing we're inside a searchlight. As the light intensifies, raindrops illuminate, beating and dancing chaotically on the hot lens. A bacchanalian Times Square vibe. Costumed volume revelers swarm wet sidewalks in a glow of neon and LED. The city streets are crowded for the holiday. Even with the rain, we push into the sea of cosplayers, clubbers, tourists. Hidden in the chaos is the element, waiting to strike like snakes at the decent, the vulnerable. A male figure suddenly enters frame, but I'm there too, watching. We follow from behind as he walks in an army jacket, knit cap, duffel on his shoulder. This man looks like a drifter. We go super tight on his intense eyes as he walks. 2 years of nights have turned me into a nocturnal animal. My senses are heightened now. I can almost smell them. We peer in at a few costumed shoppers inside. A guy in a hoodie and yellow sad emoji mask steps to the counter. I must choose my targets carefully. Sad emoji nervously pulls a gun on the cashier. Come on! We spy 3 vandals spray painting the huge pillars of the colossal Gotham Bank. It's a big city. I can't be everywhere. The vandals wear Guy Fawkes masks. One lights a Molotov cocktail and hurls it, shattering the glass front door. A speeding elevated train. We peer through the connecting door into the car ahead, where 8 gang members in skull face paint carouse. But they don't know where I am. In the car ahead, the gang crowds, jockeying to see a cell phone video. Tight on the video, we see the gang striding through a park. One points at a random jogger. Another responds, punching him out. The gang recoils with laughter. Then, the gang leader notices a lone passenger rising as the train slows. He turns to the younger member, nodding toward the passenger with a menacing smile. The young member looks anxiously. Fingers quickly smear black camo paint around fierce eyes, veiled in darkness. As we spot the drifter's army duffel on wet ground, we glimpse the bat cowl inside. We cut back to the rooftop searchlight. A crude but iconic bat symbol blazes at its center. We have a signal now for when I'm needed. We reveal a silhouetted man beside the light waiting. But when the light hits the sky, it's not just a call. He perches atop an abandoned half-built skyscraper. The bright beam reaches upward, sparkling in the rain. It's a warning to them. Outside of the bodega, the sad emoji bolts out toward a dark alley. When he spots two pedestrians gaping up at the sky in alarm, he slows, peering up to see the bat signal looming. Fear is a tool. The sad emoji stops, panic dawning as he turns to the dark alley. He backs away into the street. A car skids, hitting him. He drops, but fear lifts him, and he just keeps running. The sound of a helicopter grows as, on the vandal, hearing the copter, peers up, and a police chopper soars past the bat signal in the clouds. They think I'm hiding in the shadows. The vandal drops his spray can, startled as it clatters. Ominously under a dark archway, he stares, chilled. But I am the shadows. A siren approaches. The vandal spins, joining the others as they flee. We see the painted letters spell broke on the pillars. Behind, a fire rages in a building. Flames rise as a menacing low rumble builds. With a startling burst of metallic screeching, we cut back to the train platform, where the train screeches to a stop. Our lone passenger emerges onto the deserted platform. When he hears footsteps and laughter behind, he turns, startled. The 8 skull-faced gang members are behind him. The young member stands coiled, a haunted look in his eyes. The others watch with phones raised, filming. "Do it, man!" He hesitates, losing his nerve, and the passenger bolts. "Get him!" The gang plows forward, knocking the young member down as they race past. They pounce on the passenger. Close on the young gang member, the train roaring off beside him, when he spots the bat signal in the sky. His eyes dart around as screams approach. He turns, and the leader yanks the young member to his feet. The group holds the passenger, and a dreadful silence settles over the station as the train roar recedes. "Now, knock his ass out!" The young member stares, steeling himself, when slow boot steps echo from somewhere in the station. Everyone turns, looking anxiously around. The young man's eyes stare into a dark void beneath an overhang. The others look too, as click, click. A masked figure shrouded in black appears like an apparition from the shadows. Stepping into the rain, it's the Batman. Everyone stares, unnerved. The leader smirks, sizing up what he assumes is just another Halloween costume. "The hell are you supposed to be?" Batman stands there for a long, scary beat with his eyes veiled. "I'm vengeance." The unsettling effect of this response has barely an instant to register before Batman stalks for the leader. "Holy shit, it's him!" The leader raises his hand, ready to fight, but is totally unprepared for this fight. Batman's movements are inconceivably brutal and fast. The leader swings. Batman seizes his arm, a martial artist's savage grace, using his attacker's momentum to wrench him off balance, snapping his arm sickeningly. The leader screams as Batman silences him again with a rain of head-snapping jackhammer punches in the face. And like that, the leader is down, bleeding and moaning. Batman looks up at the others, who gaze back, stunned, when a trio of gang members rush him. Chaos as Batman dispenses with them all at once, in a fluid but totally street fight realistic attack. Kicks and hard fist blows. Batman takes hits too, but his terrifying skill keeps impact from landing. He's like a machine. Panic rips through the gang. The young member's eyes widen as he sees someone pull out a .38 special. "Hey man, no! Batman spins, seeing the gun, and starts right for it. The gang member opens fire. Batman flinches as the bullets disappear into his suit's ballistic fiber. He advances, grabbing the member's still firing gun arm in one hand and his throat in the other. As the gang scatters from the bullets, a bright blue taser current zaps from Batman's gloved fingers into the gang member's neck. The gang member drops, convulsing. Batman slowly lifts his head, looking for more comers. The few remaining on their feet gape frozen. Batman watches as they break into a run, all except the youngest gang member who hesitates briefly under Batman's stone-faced gaze in awe, then races off. Batman looks down to discover the passenger, knocked to the ground in chaos. He raises his hands, terrified. "Please don't hurt me." Batman just gazes strangely, cocking his head and taking steps slowly toward him. The passenger braces himself as Batman peers down at something beside the passenger's head, a reflection on the wet ground, the bat signal. Batman looks up, wondering how long it's been there. Filled with hushed cops inside the mayor's townhouse, some turn as they notice us, staring with harsh edge, like, what is he doing here? We reveal Batman striding unfazed, led by Lieutenant James Gordon, mid-40s, the man we saw by the bat signal. A uniformed officer steps into Batman's path, alarmed. Whoa, police action. Batman glares down at the officer's hands on his chest. "He's with me, officer." Are you kidding me, sir? You're gonna let him in here?" "Let him pass, Martinez." The officer turns in disbelief and steps aside. "Goddamn freak." In the study, Mitchell lies dead, head mummified in duct tape. Over his mouth in red it says, "No more lies." The investigators turn in utter shock as Batman approaching with Gordon. What do we know? The lead is rattled as Batman stares at the body. "Detective?" "Sorry, Lieutenant. Okay, we got blunt force trauma, lacerations on the head. He got hit a lot of times, and hard." "All this blood is from his head?" "Most of it's from his hand." Close on Batman staring, as the detective lifts the hand into frame, soft focus foreground, showing Gordon. "Thumb was severed. Killer may have taken it as a trophy." "He was alive when it was cut off." Appalled, they turn to Batman, who stares at the hand. Ecchymosis around the wound. He rises to survey the area. Thrown by the interpretation, the detective watches him go and turns back to Gordon. "Security detail downstairs says the family was out trick-or-treating. The mayor was up here alone. Killer came through the skylight." Batman sees a photographer flash, a shot of blood spatter on the framed Maroni drug bust headline on the wall, when Batman clocks a fresh gash in the wood floor, the spot where the strange metal tool landed in our opening. He goes to examine it, the photographer suddenly noticing. It's a detail he obviously missed. As soon as Batman rises, he hustles over and snaps a shot. "You said there was a card?" The detective hands over an envelope. Gordon pulls out a Hallmark-style Halloween card. A creepy skeleton smiles behind a wide-eyed owl, tapping his shoulder. "From a secret friend." "Who?" He opens the card and reads, "Haven't a clue? Let's play a game, just me and you." Batman peers as Gordon reads the killer's scrawl. "What does a liar do when he's dead?" Weird symbols are etched at the bottom. Gordon pulls a piece of paper from the envelope. More weird symbols. There's a cipher, too. "Any of this mean anything to you?" Gordon pointedly shows Batman the envelope. Batman stares, struck, but before he can speak. "What's going on here?" A quiet, alarmed voice. Everyone turns to see Commissioner Pete Savage, mid-50s, appalled at the sight of Batman. "I asked him to come, Pete. This is a crime scene. It's Mitchell, for Christ's sakes. I got press downstairs. and then darker. You know, I cut you a lot of slack, Jim, because we got history, but this is way over the line. Gordon hands him the card. Savage reads in horror. When he sees the envelope, where he and we discover it's addressed to the Batman. Wait, he's involved in this? No, he's not involved. How do you know he's a goddamn vigilante? He could be a suspect. What are you doing to me? We used to be partners. Pete, I'm looking for the connection. He lies still. They turn to see Batman, eyes fixed on the body. Excuse me? Gordon gets it, nodding. The riddle. What does a liar do when he's dead? He lies still. Unnerved by all this, Savage looks bitterly at Batman. Jesus, this must be your favorite night of the year, huh, pal? Happy fucking Halloween. An officer appears in the doorway. Excuse me, Commissioner. They're ready for your statement. Savage sighs and nods. He turns to Gordon, deadly serious. I want him out of here. Now. And he leaves as the police all glare. Gordon starts to lead Batman out, but Batman stops, spotting something. A bloody footprint, child-sized. Gordon sees it, grim. Yeah, the kid was the one that found him. Batman looks up at him, disturbed. What kid? The little red ninja sitting on a bed in a child's room. Without his mask, we see it's a 10-year-old boy. He looks through the doorway at him as he stares down, lost, surrounded by cops. Finally, he looks up at us. We reveal Batman gazing back through the doorway. As more cops begin to notice him, Gordon beside him whispers, We really gotta go, man. Batman nods, but stays a moment longer. The aching chords of Nirvana's Something in the Way begin. We hold as Batman stares from somewhere under that mask, an unspoken connection to this newly fatherless boy. Tonight, a son lost a father. We are now at the press conference. Mitchell's wife cries behind Savage. A wife lost a husband, and I lost a friend. Mayor Mitchell was a fighter for our city, and I won't rest until this killer is found. Nirvana continues. An engine purrs, distant perspective on the press conference. We pull back to reveal we're looking past a figure. The Drifter. He watches from the shadows across the street on an old unpainted cafe racer motorcycle. He pulls on a helmet, close on the dark, full-face visor. I wish I could say I'm making a difference, but I don't know. Nirvana swells as we chase the bike through Lower Gotham. The press conference blazes on decaying jumbotrons. Murder, robberies, assault. 2 years later, they're all up. And now this. Passing tent cities, halted construction sites under signs, Gotham Renewal Project. Plastered over some are Bella Real campaign bills. Time for a real change. The city's eating itself. Maybe it's beyond saving. Along one of the bridges spanning the island of Gotham, a massive seawall below, from the skyline behind. I have to try. Push myself. Until we soar over the bike as it tears through a rolling city park down a narrow road, disappearing into a tunnel under a beautiful arcing bridge. We tip up toward the distance and see it's heading toward a Gothic 1920s building below the park, Wayne Tower. The bike rips down a secret passage from a bygone era. The Drifter skids to a stop. Hundreds of creatures all along the rock ceiling stir anxiously to life. Bats. These nights all roll together in a rush behind the mask. As he removes his helmet, we finally see Bruce Wayne. Handsome, 30, black camo still around his eyes. Super tight, fingers removing contact lenses. On the curved surface of the lenses are tiny sensor bands. Sometimes in the morning, I have to force myself to remember. close on grainy video footage, the gang member from last night looks at us as he gets tased in the neck. Everything that happened. Close on a handwritten journal. Phrases: Thursday, October 31, nocturnal animal, push myself. A pen finishes the entry. As the journal shuts, we see the cover. Notes and observations. Gotham Project Year 2. Nirvana echoes as Bruce reviews footage at the workbench in a giant boiler room turned survivalist chop shop. Projects in various states, including a half-built black muscle car, both retro and like nothing we've ever seen. A TV plays CGI. The headline, Mayor Mitchell murdered, below it. Acting Mayor Tomlin to run in his place. This certainly isn't the first time Gotham has been rocked by the murder of a political figure. In fact, in an eerie coincidence, it was 20 years ago this month that celebrated billionaire philanthropist Dr. Thomas Wayne and his wife Martha were slain during Wayne's own mayoral campaign in a shocking crime that remains unsolved to this day. Bruce's eyes go to the TV, when from the freight elevator steps Alfred, 50s, muscular, waistcoat, shirt sleeves. He walks on an elegant cane, scar on his face, eyes on the TV. Seeing him, Bruce resumes work. Alfred turns to Bruce, an unspoken tension. Bruce avoids his gaze. I assume you heard about this? Yeah. Alfred suddenly notices the contact lens murder scene footage Bruce is high-speeding through and moves closer. Oh, I see. Dear God. Off of Mitchell's body. As the cipher fills the screen, Bruce freezes the image, printing it. Alfred looks chilled as Bruce works. The killer left this for Batman? Apparently. You're becoming quite a celebrity. Why is he writing to you? I don't know yet. Have a shower. The accounting boys from Wayne Enterprises are coming for breakfast. Here? Why? Because I couldn't get you to go there. I don't have time for this. A tense beat. It's getting serious, Bruce. If this continues, it won't be long before you have nothing left. I don't care about that. Any of that. You don't care about your family's legacy? What I'm doing is my family's legacy. And if I can't change things here, if I can't have an effect, then I don't care what happens to me. That's what I'm afraid of. Stop, you're not my father, Alfred. A thin smile. I'm well aware. Bruce rises. Alfred watches him go, pained. Then turns to the computer, seeing thumbnails from the lens footage. One is the boy in ninja costume. He clicks it. The boy looks up, sad. Alfred stares, deeply affected. Alfred's eyes drift to the printed cipher. His gaze fixes on words Bruce has written above the eerie symbols in the Halloween card. He lies still. Atop the staircase, we start on a set of double doors. A thick chain coiled crudely through the handles, a padlock sealing us off from whatever is beyond. Bruce moves past, downstairs, wet hair pulling on a t-shirt, muscular but underweight like a rock star, a street fighter's scars and bruises. We move with him through the apartment's hotel-like scale and neglect that has left dirt and despair over former grandeur. He enters the dining room to find Alfred at the table, immersed in what looks like a crossword. Without looking up, Alfred points. Some fresh berries there? Bruce squints, unaccustomed to morning. Grabbing berries, he pulls out sunglasses. When he sees Alfred's working on the cipher, Alfred's interest breaks the ice. What are you doing? Just reminiscing about my days in the circus. This is actually quite elusive. Where'd you get the O's? He lies still is only a partial key. It only gives us H-E-L, I, and S. So I'm looking for any double symbols to start. trying letters and seeing where it leads. Interesting. An elderly maid appears in the doorway. The gentlemen are here. Alfred discreetly closes his newspaper over the cipher. See them in, please, Dory. Two young executives stare right at us. I'm afraid we're at a critical point here. Reveal Bruce in sunglasses, stone-faced. His gaze shifts distractedly to Alfred's newspaper on the table. At the very least, we'll need your signature to cover these losses. Bruce reaches for the newspaper and opens it. The execs glance at each other thrown. Alfred smiles, apologetic. Bruce stares at the sea of letters, wheels turning. Mr. Wayne? Bruce glances blankly up. What? I need your signature, sir. As Bruce signs, we prelap. What if it isn't a partial key? Back in the cave, Bruce and Alfred work on the cipher on Bruce's computer. What do you mean? What if it's the whole key? Ignore the symbols we don't have letters for. Use only the letters from He Lies Still and leave the rest. Blank, yes, I understand. Deleting the letters. But that will leave most of the cipher unsolved. I don't see how that... Oh. He's suddenly impressed. Well. They gaze at the laptop. Most of the cipher is now blank, but the remaining letters line up like connect the dots to form a single huge word. Drive. In the Gotham City Police Department, the room bustles with police and FBI codebreakers, all fixated on the cipher, projected huge on the wall. One of the Gotham City police detectives quietly briefs Gordon. Feds say the code could take weeks, if they can crack it at all. Gordon's cell rings. He looks, no caller ID, and answers. Did Mitchell have a car? I'm sorry, can you hold on, honey? To detective. My daughter, Barbara. The detective nods as Gordon takes a few steps away, into the phone, low. A car? Yeah, I'm sure. Why? We find ourselves in the freight elevator of the mayor's mansion. At night, Batman and Gordon descend in darkness. After a beat, Gordon steals a look, studying the visible part of Batman's face. Batman feels it and turns. Gordon looks away. They stare forward again as the doors open to a subterranean garage filled with priceless exotic cars. They walk out, scanning the maze of stunning vehicles. Damn, where do we even start? Eyeing the cars. You sure this isn't a leap? Drive could mean anything. You don't trust me? Trust you? You mean like you trust me? It's been 2 years. I still don't know who you are, man. There. Gordon looks at an Aston DB11. One of the tires is flat. They approach. Batman kneels, pulling a pair of poultry shears out of the tire. They're covered in dried blood. Batman turns on a UV light bar, searching the console. What are we looking for? USB port. USB? Batman stops, struck. He looks at Gordon, who can't see inside the console, and then looks back. What? Batman pulls a keyring USB drive attached to it. In a clear plastic bag is a severed thumb. Thumb drive. Jesus! They stare at Gordon's field laptop as it beeps. It's encrypted. Try this. Gordon turns, holds up the bag with the severed thumb. Gordon sighs, taking it, shakes his head, presses the thumb to the drive. It opens. Boy, this guy's hilarious. Surveillance photos pop up. Mayor Mitchell exiting a seedy nightclub with a 22-year-old in clubwear, headed for his Aston DB11, a black eye visible under the woman's sunglasses. Behind them follow unsavory types, a gangster vibe. One wears a street-styled striped tux. So much for family values. Who is she? No idea, but that's the Penguin, Carmine Falcone's right hand. I know who he is. When, whoosh, a sound suddenly emits from the laptop. What was that? Shit! What? The mail app! It just sent out the photos! God damn it! Gotham Post, Gazette, GC1. Jesus, I'm gonna have to go deal with this. Pete's gonna hit the roof. Batman looks at the photos. He lies still. About her? Maybe. That's the Iceberg Lounge. It's under the shoreline lofts where Falcone's hold up. We'll never get in without a warrant. Batman, knowing that won't stop him. Yeah. We follow a moving shot pushing toward a deserted warehouse. A nondescript door in the facade. Lone sodium street lamp flickers, illuminating an old sign, Iceberg Fish Co. As bat boots click purposefully into frame. In the blackness, we swing open a door to reveal Batman in shadow. Do you know who I am? A huge bouncer's eyes give the bat suit the once-over. Yeah, I got an idea. I want to see the Penguin. Penguin? I don't know what you're talking about, pal. Batman just stares. The bouncer shuts the door. A beat, and then it opens again. Now, there are two of them. They're twins. What's the problem? Says he wants to see the Penguin. Penguin? There ain't no penguin here. That's what I tried to tell him. You know what? Get out of here, freak. You hear me? Or that little suit's gonna get all full of blood. Batman remains eerily still. Mine or yours? The twin lunges, blindsided by Batman's vicious elbow strike. The other twin charges. His throat meets the heel of Batman's palm, and just like that, we're following Batman inside. A continuous handheld shot. Music throbs as we plunge down a corridor, circling Batman. Behind him, we see the twins staggering back in, screaming to alert more bouncers, who scramble as Batman emerges onto the landing above the club. Strobe lights reveal glimpses of showgirls above a dance floor. Batman starts downstairs when the bouncers pounce, a martial arts brawl erupting as they descend. Batman taking on two at a time, cracking heads on railings until he leaps over one, dropping a full story. Batman spots another bouncer with an aluminum bat who swings. Batman steps in fast, throwing an elbow, twisting the bat free, and dropping the bouncer hard. A mustached bouncer pulls a gun. Batman twirls the bat under strobe lights. Mustache fires. Bullets ping off the bat, and Batman lets it fly, knocking Mustache out. Batman sees the twins back again. One now has a shotgun. Clubbers shriek as Batman triggers a quick-draw slider on his arm, whipping a harpoon gun to his fist, firing through the gunman's legs into his brother's foot. The line retracts, yanking him forward, upending them both. The gun fires into the ceiling. The club is in total chaos now. When someone comes up behind, Batman spins, ready for more, and sees a man with misshaped nose in a striped tux and lavender bow tie. He puts his hands up, grinning in awe. Whoa! Take it easy, sweetheart. You looking for me? See, you met the twins. Boy, you're everything they say, aren't you? He smiles big, flashing a shiny gold tooth. I guess we both are. How you doing? I'm Oz. He hobbles closely on a clubbed foot, sticks out a hand to shake. Batman doesn't return the gesture. At a desk enclosed by racks of showgirl costumes, Penguin looks at the photo of the 22-year-old in the mayor. Who is she? I really don't know, Chief. I might have been coming out at the same time, but I wasn't rolling with him. Footsteps interrupt. Through a gap in costumes, Batman spies a figure in a high-slit evening gown. A stunning woman appears. With a streetwise vibe, she stops uneasy. No, it's okay, baby. Mr. Vengeance here don't bite. She hesitates, eyes on Batman, then saunters to the Penguin and sets down a drink tray. Penguin touches her thigh. She slyly brushes his hand away with a smile and says low, Touch me again, Oz. I'll break those stubby little fingers, okay? What, the dress? I was just feeling the material, sorry. He lifts an envelope of cash off the tray. Batman watches him hand the woman a rubber-banded cluster of vials with eyedroppers, aka drops. The woman turns to go, but stops, struck, as she sees the photo. Her eyes briefly meet Batman's, then she heads out. Batman points to the photo. I want to know who she is, and what she has to do with his murder. Whose murder? The mayor. Is that the mayor? Oh shit, it is! Look at that! Batman yanks him from his seat and slams him into a mirror. Don't make me hurt you. You better watch it. You know my reputation. Yeah, I do. Do you? Anger flares suddenly in Penguin's eyes. A nerve struck. Finally, he pushes it down, smiling and evasive. Look, I'm just a proprietor, okay? What people do here ain't got nothing to do with me. Batman senses something in the mirror. He turns to see the woman in the evening gown still watching through the doorway in the distance. She disappears again. I'll tell you one thing. Batman turns back. Penguin hands him the photo. Whoever she is, she's one hot chick. Smiles cruelly. Why don't you ask Mitchell's wife? Maybe she knows. Off Batman's look. What, too soon? Batman looks at the photo again and spots an evening gown in the background, face in shadow. But there's no mistaking that dress. As Batman moves for the empty doorway. You let me know if there's anything else I can do. Okay, sunshine? Batman looks around, but the woman is gone. The woman emerges in a coat from the club, looking anxiously for a cab. Under the flickering street lamp, flags down a navy gypsy cab, hand painted on the door, "We're not yellow, we go anywhere." She gets in. Pan with the cab as it speeds off, right by a helmeted motorcyclist, the Drifter. The woman on her cell speaks low as someone picks up. Hey, it's me. What's the matter, baby? Slow down, I can't. On the news? No, wait for me, I'm on my way home. We're gonna get the hell out of here, I promise. If we have to go sooner, we'll go tonight. Hold on her worried face as focus drifts through the rear window to reveal the helmeted driver following her. Quiet breathing as binoculars search the facade. Lights come on in the second story. The woman enters her apartment. Cats swarm her as she rushes to the kitchen, finding a young woman with a bruised face, eyes on the TV, who grows hysterical, gesturing to the photos of the mayor and the 22-year-old playing on GC1. As the woman in the gown tries to calm her, we see the bruised young woman is the 22-year-old. We reveal Bruce, the Drifter, hidden in cap and army jacket, watching through binoculars from a nearby rooftop. We follow the woman in the evening gown to the bathroom. She opens a cabinet, taking pills, then rushes back to the kitchen distraught. The bruised woman takes them. The woman in gown caresses her head. The bruised woman pushes her away, inconsolable. The woman in gown stands at a loss. Then, resolve building, marches off, binoculars following as she and all her cats head into a bedroom where she stealthily shuts the door. We watch in silhouette as she slips out of her dress and begins sliding into a skin-tight black leather bodysuit as her cats nuzzle against her legs. The Drifter gazes, struck by the sight of the woman as Catwoman climbs nimbly out of the fire escape, swinging like an acrobat to the ground below. She ducks into the garage. The Drifter lowers the glasses, alarmed he'll lose her. A black sport bike appears. The helmeted Catwoman roars onto the street past the Drifter, getting on his bike. Throttling hard through traffic to keep Catwoman in sight as she weaves in and out of view 100 feet ahead, slaloming cars, the Drifter races just to keep pace. A figure lowers gracefully on a rope in the mayor's mansion. The Catwoman prowls, a black motorcycle wind mask over her face. She finds a wall safe, working tumblers till it's open. You're pretty good at that. She turns to see Batman in shadow. She grabs something from the safe and breaks for the door. He stalks after and grabs her. She spins, swinging a vicious roundhouse. Surprised, he recoils, blocking blinding kick after kick with raised arms. She's really goddamn good. Her brutal assault drives him back, when suddenly he twists, grabbing her leg. They crash over the desk, and suddenly she's on her back. He reaches down, snatching whatever she stole. An Estonian passport. Hey! Batman opens it. It belongs to the 22-year-old girl. Kosalov, Annika. Give me that. He hurt her? That's why you killed him? What? Oh, please, just give me the goddamn... She lunges for the passport as Batman whips around her, pulling her down behind the desk. She's bewildered when she sees a flashlight spilling through the doorway. It's a security cop arriving to investigate the noise. He scans the scene as they wait, bodies pressed close. Her eyes swim as Batman holds her. Satisfied, the cop leaves. Catwoman shrugs Batman off, hard, standing. Listen, honey, you got the wrong idea, okay? I didn't kill anybody. I'm here for my friend. She's trying to get the hell out of here. This son of a bitch had her passport. What does he know? Whatever it is, it's got her so scared she won't even tell me. She did seem upset. She looks at him confused. He stares back, provocative. Back at your place. She can't believe it. He was there? Let's go talk to her. Finally, he offers the passport. She glares at it. Batman and Catwoman jockey for the lead on their bikes. They rocket past at over 100 miles per hour. A fleeting blur. We land on two stunned pedestrians, craning their heads. The apartment has been ransacked. Batman and Catwoman enter distraught. She rushes deeper into the apartment. Annie? Baby? Batman examines the scene and hears the TV. He moves to the dim kitchen, sees unpaid bills on the counter. He picks one up and sees the name, Selina Kyle. When the TV steals his attention, the GC1 headline, Serial Killer Claims Credit for Second Victim in 2 Days. GCPD Commissioner Murdered. Catwoman comes in, now deeply rattled and guilty. Jesus, what are they going to do to her? She's just a kid. And now they know who I am, too. They took my phone, everything. She notices Batman grimly staring and turns to the TV. The killer posted the following message on social media. We warn you, this video is disturbing. A handheld video begins. A selfie of the olive green hooded killer we saw in the opening. A new symbol on his chest. A scrawled question mark within crosshairs. An eerie voice changer on the masked man. Hello, people of Gotham. This is the Riddler speaking. On Halloween night, I killed your mayor because he was not who he pretended to be. But I am not done. Here is another. He swings the camera to a bound naked man with a cage-like box over his head. The camera presses in to see Commissioner Savage inside, mouth covered in duct tape, and the words, "No more lies." Feral rats circle his face. Who will soon be losing face? I will kill again and again until our day of judgment, when the truth about our city will finally be unmasked. He leans into view. Goodbye. As we hear muffled shrieks, the video abruptly ends. A smiling press photo of Commissioner Savage appears. Holy shit! I seen that guy too, at the club. The Iceberg Lounge. The 44 below. Off his look. The club within the club. The real club. It's a mob hangout. That's where you work, Selina? She turns, struck. Then, I work at the bar upstairs, but I see them come in. Who? Everybody. A lot of guys who shouldn't be there. I can tell you that. Your basic upstanding citizen types. You're going to help me on this. For your friend. She warily studies his eyes. When Batman feels something at his feet, a swarm of cats, he looks at her. You got a lot of cats. I have a thing about strays. Batman starts to go. You're not safe here. I can take care of myself. But he just keeps going. She turns grimly to the TV. With 2 public figures now dead in just the last 2 nights, only days before the election, police and city officials are left searching for a killer and hoping to find him before he kills again. Blackness slides open, screeching into light. We look up at flaring fluorescence as Batman and Gordon peer down at us. Gordon has to look away. Batman coldly assesses. He waited for him at the gym. Pete liked to work out late at night when nobody was around. Needle mark on his neck. Son of a bitch injected him with arsenic. Rat poison. That seems to be his theme here. As Gordon steps angrily away, we finally reveal the medical examiner's room. Savage's body on a morgue drawer. Batman follows Gordon to an evidence table. Sees a creepy hinged cage-like head box. Inside is an elaborate network of channels. It's a maze. Kind of sicko does this to a person? Gordon gazes inside the bloody maze, where a crudely painted cipher ends on a question mark in crosshairs, as Batman finds a stack of surveillance photos. He blasted those out after the message went viral. This guy murders you and your reputation. In one of the photos, the commissioner emerges from the Iceberg Lounge, shakes hands with a shady guy. Guy pushes drops on the east end. Gordon looks on, pained, as Batman stares at another photo. Savage peering into a cash-stuffed envelope. I don't get it. Why would Pete get involved in this? Looks like he got greedy. Are you kidding? After everything we did to bust up the Maronis? We shut down their whole operation. Now he's caving to some dealer? Maybe he's not who you thought. You make it sound like he had it coming. He was a cop. He crossed the line. Gordon sighs. When Batman notices something taped to the back of the headbox, an envelope to the Batman. Gordon watches Batman open it. Another greeting card. A cartoon scientist mixes beakers. I am mad about you. Want to know my name? Just look inside and see. Inside is a cartoon explosion. Over it. But wait, I cannot tell you. It might spoil the chemistry. He reads the scribble. Follow the maze till you find the rat. Bring him into the light. You'll find where I'm at. The hell is all that? Bring him into the light and find the rat? Unnerved, Batman stares at his name on the envelope. I don't know. A roll-up door rises behind glass as Batman waits. We glimpse the prisoner's pale hands and jumpsuit, but his face remains hidden through the scene. Batman glares. He puts a file in the partition drawer and pushes it through. The unseen prisoner's voice. A present? Almost our anniversary, isn't it? There's a serial killer. I want your perspective. The prisoner's fingers stroke the covers as he considers. First anniversary is paper. Then, what makes you think I come so cheap? I thought you'd be curious. Oh, a little lurid reading. You think I get off on this stuff. Don't you? You have pictures? Batman just stares. The prisoner looks at the file. Oh, his violence is so baroque. He likes little puzzles, doesn't he? So meticulous. It's like he's been planning this his whole life. Then a quiet taunt. I know who he is. Who? The prisoner's blurred face just stares back hauntingly. Who is he? He's a nobody who wants to be somebody. The mayor, the commissioner. He's got ambition. You think his motive is political? No, this is very personal. He feels these people have wronged him. Probably goes back unhealed wounds, stolen lunch money. Why is he writing it to me? Maybe he's a fan. Or maybe he's got a grudge against you, too. Maybe you're the main course. Any theories? I'm sure you have your own hypothesis. Not yet. Really? You're normally so ahead of the curve. But something is different this time. This is very upsetting to you. Let's get back to him. Why? You're so much more fun. I'm not here to talk about me. What are you here to talk about? I want to know how he thinks. Oh, come on, you know exactly how he thinks. Have you read this file? Batman's jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. You two have so much in common. Masked Avengers, but he's even more righteous. Are you afraid he makes you look soft? You're wasting my time. Batman takes the file, and the prisoner cackles, laughter building maniacally as Batman rises, pressing a buzzer. We push in on the glass toward the out-of-focus prisoner, head in his hands, as he fights to regain composure. Okay, I'll tell you what I really think. As the camera stops, super tight on the wired glass, the blurred prisoner finally lifts his head as he presses his lips close to the window. They come into focus. His mouth is diseased, horribly distorted into a rictus grin. The prisoner is the Joker. Batman faces the door, waiting for it to unlock as the Joker continues, quiet, sadistic pleasure in his voice. I think you don't really care about his motives, whether he loves you or hates you. I think somewhere deep down you're just terrified, because you're not sure he's wrong. On Batman, as the door suddenly unlocks, hesitating. You think they deserved it, don't you? He opens the door. An unnerving loud buzzing pierces the air as he steps out. The door slams shut. We smash cut to blinking eyes as contact lenses go in. Ow! I don't know about these. I need to see in there. Seems like this is his hunting ground. They're on the warehouse roof across from Iceberg Lounge. Selina turns to Batman, who's absorbed in setting up portable surveillance equipment. He's a man on a mission. Why am I starting to feel like a fish on a hook? I'm just looking for Annika. Watching him work. Boy, you're a real sweetheart. You don't care what happens to me in there tonight, do you? No response. She looks away. When finally he turns to her, something significant in his voice as it quiets. Look at me. Surprised, she does. They stare into each other's eyes, his intensely studying hers as he gazes back for a long time, something very intimate in the moment. When, okay, looks good. He offers her a tiny earpiece. She glares, snatching it. We hold on her face as she strides through the packed club, intensity in her eyes as the dance music blasts. Her contact lens point of view on Batman's laptop, plunging through chaos, the image and sound stuttering as Batman works to get a lock on her signal. As she heads into a darker space, the music is now muffled. On Batman's laptop, we see the signal stabilize. We see she is passing through showgirls at dressing mirrors. Some look right at us as we pass. Got you. Can you hear me? Yeah, in a low but not thrilled voice. Batman stares as she moves to Penguin's backroom area. Penguin looks up at us concerned as Selina arrives. What's up, doll? You look tense. I want to work downstairs tonight. Penguin quiets, struck. Downstairs? No, you don't want to do that. I need the money. Baby, it's a bunch of jackals down there. They'll be all over you. I'll be fine. I'm telling you, it'd drive me crazy. He takes out his wallet. Look, what do you need? Oz, I don't mind. I'd do anything for you, honey. Don't you know how I feel about you by now? Oz! He looks at her silent, a flash of vulnerability. I don't want your money. Penguin darkens. What? Not good enough for you? She says nothing. He pulls out a key card. just holds it out cold. As she reaches, he pulls it back. Batman watches Penguin glare into her point of view, simmering. Then, I know you don't see it yet, honey. Nobody does. But Falcone ain't gonna be around forever. One day this city is gonna be mine. She just looks at him finally. He hands her the key. Batman watches through Selina's perspective, a mustached bouncer, ominously guarding an elevator, his face now bruised from the earlier fight. Selina holds up her keycard. Hospitality. He suspiciously searches her eyes. She averts. He opens the elevator. She steps in and the door shuts. You sure no one can see these things in my eyes? Don't worry, I'm watching you. She takes a tense breath, somehow not reassured by that idea. As the doors open, she steps into the 44 below. It's another world, crowded speakeasy vibe. Selina sees a line of men all turning to size her up. Batman sees her point of view drop quickly off their faces. Don't look away. I need time to make IDs. Ugh, great. As she turns back, Batman sees facial recog scans begin, when she notices the sea of men gazing lewdly at her body. These guys have a little trouble with eye contact, don't they? Feels nice, doesn't it? IDs start coming through the laptop. The guy up ahead's a city councilman. The guy he's talking to isn't. No, he's not. That's the chair of Gotham's First National. What did I tell you? The best people. She passes a lounge area where 3 men in suits sit with 2 hospitality girls. They're all getting high, eyedroppers over their eyes, to administer drops. Jesus, I hate drop heads. Really? Because when I first saw you, looked like you were dealing for Penguin. You don't know what you're talking about. Can we not do this now? One of the men turns mid-drop, thunderstruck by Selina. Recognizing the look, she quickly turns away from him. Wait, who is that? Oh, I saw him. Look back. If I look back, it's going to be a whole can of worms. I need to see his face. She turns back, and he's still staring. He stumbles over. My God, Happy, here he comes. That's the DA, Gil Coulson. Talk to him. How you doing? I'm Gil. She smiles. Aren't you the DA? Yeah. Wow, I seen you on TV. Haven't seen you here before. Hell of a time to be a new girl. People are a little on edge. Honey, I live on the edge. Oh, I like that. You want to join us? Come on. He gestures to his table, leads her over to the group. The vibe here is a little tense. This is Richie, Travis, Glenn. You know, Carla here? That's half the DA's office. Gil points to another hospitality girl who has a catatonic smile and a dropper in hand. That's Sherry. Don't mind her. She's taking a break. We're just drowning our sorrows. You want a drop? No, I'm good. But honey, you enjoy. I hope you don't mind. I got a lot of weight on my shoulders with that psycho running around. Batman sees his red eyes. He's very high and distraught. He's wasted. No shit. Gil looks at her, thinks she was responding to him. Really? I like this girl. I like you too? She recovers smoothly. She touches his hand. He looks down, disarmed, suddenly vulnerable. I mean, you don't understand. This Riddler's going after the most powerful guys in the city. He knows so much. He doesn't know shit, man. He does. What about all that creepy shit in the video about the rat? Hey, come on, Gil. I thought maybe you had a little too much. Slow down. Wait, the rat. Ask about the rat. What do you mean, a rat? He turns to her, intimate and hushed. I mean, there was a rat. We had an informant. We had a big-time informant on Salvatore Maroni. That's how we got that bastard out of the drops business. But if this guy knows it, and it never comes out who the rat is, the whole city will come apart. Hey, I don't want to hear this. This is the kind of pillow talk that got that Russian girl disappeared. Selina turns, struck. What do you know about that? She becomes curt and stands up. Anybody want a drink? And she's gone. Selina watches her cross to the bar. Keep him talking. Selina abruptly stands and starts off after Carla. Where are you going? She knows Annika. No, stay on the DA. I'm looking for my friend. Selina grabs Carla's arm at the bar, speaking hushed. Hey, where's Annika? Out of my face, I don't know you. But you know her. Who took her? What have you heard? Is she okay? Jesus, keep your voice down. What, you got a death wish? What's the problem, ladies? An ominous male voice. Carla suddenly falls silent. As Selina turns, Batman sees a silhouetted figure staring back, Penguin beside him. A facial scan struggles to ID the dark face. Oh, there's no problem. Just girl talk. We're good. Let's keep it festive down here, okay? Batman stares at the man moving into the light. He's in his 60s with a striking face. It's clear Batman knows him. The man's face lights up as he approaches Selina. Hey. Her voice quiets. Hey. Batman watches the way the man looks at her. Been a long time since I seen you down here, gorgeous. How you been? Yeah, I've been okay. I was just on my way back upstairs. Batman stares as the man smiles at us a bit suggestively. Well, don't be a stranger. Batman watches as Selina enters a bathroom, stops at a sink staring down. Batman can't see her, just the sink. You know Carmine Falcone? I told you, it's a mob spot. You didn't tell me you had a relationship with him. We don't have a relationship, okay? She stares up at her reflection, removing the contacts. That's not how it looked. What are you doing? Listen, I can't do this anymore. As the lens comes out, his laptop goes black. We hold on Batman, intense and reeling. Then, we watch through fogged windows of a parked SUV as Selina bursts out of the club into the flickering light of the lone street lamp and looks for a cab. When we hear breathing, an olive green hood edges into frame. The breathing quiets as Gil stumbles out of the club, too. Gil calls after Selina on the street, still smitten and still high. Hey, I lost you in there. Yeah, I gotta go. Oh, you need a ride? Back inside the SUV, Gil Coulson gestures at us. That's me, right there. He's pointing right at where the killer is hiding. The hood slips from view again, as Selina glances at us, distractedly considering for an instant, and then, No, I'm good. A gypsy cab thankfully arrives. She grabs the handle. Well, I'll see you around. She jumps in and slams the door. The cab speeds off. Gil watches her go, depressed. The hood edges back into frame, watching. Gil looks at the club, considers going back in, but turns and starts in our direction. As the hood disappears, Gil looks right at us, taking out his fob. As Gil's lonely figure approaches the waiting SUV, we see Gil get in, hold, as he fumbles for his seatbelt, unaware of the hooded form slowly rising behind him. Gil leans forward, briefly out of his reach, then he strains to wipe fog from the windshield. The killer remains eerily still as Gil settles back further than expected. He feels blindly behind to find the headrest gone. Confused, he turns suddenly face to hood with the killer. Before he can react, the killer pummels Gil with his metal tool. Gil slumps onto the wheel, horn blaring. The killer yanks him back. Totally out of it, blood fanning down his face, we hear the killer breathing hard. Then the sound of duct tape ripping. Tape covers Gil's mouth as Gil starts to come to, moaning in panic. The killer lifts a crudely made clamp. Gil feels it sliding around his neck. His moaning intensifies. He begins to flail. The killer's hood undulates with each breath. the aviator glasses over his hood rhythmically fogging. "Just hold still." We hear the sickening clicks of metal cinching tighter and tighter. Gil's moaning turns to utter terror. We cut to an abandoned skyscraper construction site. A cruiser pulls past an old sign, Gotham Renewal Project, for a brighter tomorrow. Gordon gets out. Gordon rises in a construction elevator. As the elevator stops, he emerges onto an unfinished floor. Walking cautiously through a maze of girders to the rusted bat signal, beam blazing into the sky, he shuts it off, thrusting the space further into darkness. "What do you know about a confidential informant in the Maroney case?" Gordon turns, finally spotting Batman's silhouette. Then, "Yeah, sure, there was..." "That's the rat we're looking for. Somehow Riddler knows who he is. We find the rat, maybe that'll lead us to him." "Where are you getting this?" "I have a source who spoke to the DA tonight." Gil's very nervous. He thinks the killer's targeting people connected to the case. "I worked that case too." "Riddler's not after you." "How do you know?" "You're not corrupt." "Coulson is dirty?" Batman nods. Gordon shakes his head, outrage building. "Well, maybe I go after him. Lean on him to give up the rat." "Too dangerous. Coulson said they made a secret deal with this guy. Whatever it is, it's huge. And who knows how many people it touches. Politicians, police, the courts. It could tear the city apart." Gordon reels. "Jesus, this is a powder keg." The Riddler is the match. We cut to the cave underneath Wayne Tower. Voices echo as we pan through the space, sweeping past the black muscle kit car almost complete now. "You know Carmine Falcone? I told you this is a mob spot. You didn't tell me you had a relationship with him." "We don't have a relationship, okay?" We find Bruce at his workbench in a dark suit, examining footage from last night, freezing on Selina's face. "Pretty. New friend of yours?" "I'm not so sure." "Looks like you upset her." Bruce turns annoyed. Alfred smiles. "Shall I take this as a good sign?" "What?" "Your attire." Is Bruce Wayne making an actual appearance? There's a public memorial for Mayor Mitchell. Serial killers like to follow reaction to their crimes. Riddler might not be able to resist. "Oh, that reminds me. I took the liberty of doing a little work on this latest cipher." Bruce looks. Alfred has decoded the symbols from inside the rat's maze that was on Commissioner Savage's head. "I'm afraid his Spanish is less than perfect, but I'm fairly certain it translates to You are el rata alada." Rata alada? Rat with wings? It's slang for pigeon. Make any sense to you? "Yeah, a stool pigeon." "Where are your cufflinks?" "I couldn't find them." "You can't go out like that." Bruce turns briefly to see Alfred removing his own. "Alfred, I don't want your..." "You have to keep up appearances. You're still a Wayne." Annoyed, Bruce relents, letting Alfred slip one on. He sees a monogrammed W on the link and gives Alfred a look. "What about you? Are you a Wayne?" Doing the other sleeve. "Your father gave them to me." That catches Bruce off guard. He looks at him, thrown, when Alfred glances up with a smile, making light. "I'm just loaning them to you. I want them back." As Bruce nods, a din of horns and traffic swells. Bruce's vintage sports car, close on his cufflinks as he drives. Approaching City Hall, he gazes at the street packed with mourners, makeshift memorials. His blood chills as he sees an olive-hooded man in the crowd with a sign. A scrawled question mark in crosshairs not far behind. Another hooded man holds one that says, "Who else dies for Gotham's lies?" Another, "Our Day of Judgment." Bruce stares at the Riddler-inspired protesters when a traffic cop presses to the window, double takes, and sees Bruce. Bruce strains a smile as the cop waves him in. Bruce gets out as a valet opens his door. when a paparazzo, "Is that Bruce Wayne?" All the heads turn as news spreads. Cameras begin flashing. "Mr. Wayne! Mr. Wayne!" Bruce ignores them, reaching for his wallet as he hears, "Can I help you, Mr. Falcone?" Bruce spins to see bodyguards helping Carmine Falcone out of a car. Falcone turns as a woman climbs out in a high-split dress, reminiscent of Selina's. Her face is concealed under a veiled hat. She takes Falcone's hand as they join his phalanx of guards. Bruce's eyes track her. Is that Selina? He hands the valet a wad of cash. "Keep it close." Bruce moves after her through the thick crowd, bottlenecked by the entrance, eyes on the woman, pressing into Falcone's security team, trying to glimpse her veiled face, when a hand slaps into his chest. Hey, give us a wide berth here, will ya, slick?" Bodyguards grab Bruce, too. Hearing the commotion, the woman turns, and Bruce sees it's Carla. "Watch it, fellas, you got the prince of the city here." They loosen their grip as Falcone steps over and smiles. "Some event. Brought out the one guy in the city more reclusive than me." Bruce glares with edge, a sense of history between them. "I thought you never leave the shoreline. Aren't you afraid someone will take a shot at you?" "You mean now that your father ain't around?" "Oz, you know Bruce Wayne?" "Whoa, seriously?" "His father saved my life. I got shot in the chest right here. Couldn't go to no hospital. So we showed up on his doorstep and he took me in. Operated right on his dining room table. Kid here saw the whole thing." To Bruce, "You don't think that meant something? He did that." "It means he took the Hippocratic Oath." "Hippocratic Oath, right. That's good. Excuse me." Bruce abruptly moves on, the bottleneck opening. The sextet plays as mourners continue to flood in. On the prowl, Bruce scans the crowd. He clocks rifled officers among spectators above and studies the crush of faces in the standing public gallery. Some are back here in tears. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming to today's memorial of our beloved Mayor Don Mitchell Jr. Our program will begin shortly. As a reminder, the family asks that those wishing to honor the mayor's memory consider a donation to the cause most dear to his heart, the Gotham Renewal Fund, our city's safety net." Bruce sees cops stopping a suspicious guy when an eerie voice off-screen says, "What good's a safety net that doesn't catch anybody?" Bruce turns to see a bitter nobody in a hooded work jacket, angry eyes on the VIPs as they file past. "Didn't nobody help my daughter when she needed it? I can tell you that. Guy was just another rich scumsucker. He got what he deserved." Finally, his eyes shift to Bruce, a truly chilling look. "Yeah, I said it." Bruce studies his acne-scarred face, nodding. When the man's expression changes, trying to place Bruce. "Hey, I know you. Bruce Wayne." Suddenly, Batman spins to see Bella Real coming at him. "Why haven't you called me back?" "I'm sorry." "I'm Bella Real. I'm running for mayor. I wouldn't be bothering you here, but your people keep telling me you're unavailable. Will you walk with me?" On the spot, Bruce glances back at the men, who now glowers. Bella tucks her arm under Bruce's, stealing him. He sneaks a look at the bitter nobody who glares as they recede, and then turns, disappearing in the crowd. She leads Bruce to the seated area, quiets, but still bluntly. "You know, you could really be doing more for the city. Your family has a history of philanthropy, but as far as I can tell, you're not doing anything. If I'm elected, I want to change that." She smiles disarmingly as they near the front. A boys' choir on the central steps begins Schubert's Ave Maria. "Will you wait for me? I gotta go pay my respects. My God, what a mess. His poor wife and son." And she leaves him, struck by her nerve and charisma. Bruce watches her lean into a row to greet the widow, when the mayor's 10-year-old son glances awkwardly back, making brief eye contact. A sad moment when, "Excuse me, Chief, can I talk to you?" Bruce turns to spy Gordon with officers. A few rows back, Gordon touches the arms of the seated chief of police. Gil Coulson is missing. What? He hasn't been heard from since last night. When one of the officers, Martinez, suddenly notices Bruce gazing in their direction, a surprised smile. "Hey, Mr. Wayne." Gordon falls silent. A strange moment for Bruce as Batman's closest ally glares warily at the billionaire. Tight on Bruce as he walks away, still listening. "Christ, not again! You got people looking for him, Jim?" When suddenly, distant screams, an awful groaning, engine whines from somewhere outside, then sickening thuds. Bruce's eyes immediately flip up in alarm to the second-story landing where spectators are panicking. Seeing something through the windows, everyone turns, all except a silhouetted figure, gazing eerily down in Bruce's direction, waiting for something. When, bam! The main entrance explodes in a blizzard of glass and concrete. The DA's SUV rips through the doors, flowers picked up in the grill, pandemonium as the crowd scatters, some tossed into the air. The vehicle slamming past guardrails into the seated area. Bruce spins to see the mayor's son a few feet away, frozen in shock as others flee all around him. He hurls himself at the boy, tackling him out of the SUV's path as it roars past. Launching seats over their heads, finally it crashes into the central staircase, buckling upward, engine grinding till it stops. A surreal moment of quiet, then screams, tears, and panic as Bruce lifts his head off the boys to look over at the wreck. Then, on the second floor, the figure is gone. People flee in all directions. Bruce rises, watching the boy run to his mother's arms. Bruce turns to see Gordon and 10 cops surrounding the SUV, guns raised. The SUV is covered in scrambled crossword puzzle patterns. The endless repeating message, DA, DOA. Bruce edges closer past fleeing mourners when the dented driver door suddenly cracks open. The hall rings with the clamor of dozens of bullets chambered at once. "Get out of the car! Hands up!" Bruce watches the driver door slowly open all the way. A figure staggers out, hands raised, terrified. Holy Christ, it's Coulson! The DA has a bloody face, tape over his mouth with the words, "No more lies." The clamp still around his neck, lights rapidly flash on it. The cops notice, horrified. "There's a bomb around his neck!" Beep, beep, beep rings out. Everyone freaks out, shielding themselves, except Bruce, who just stares at the DA, who remains in one piece. Everyone looks up, confused, when the DA sheepishly lifts his hand, pointing to a cell taped to his palm. As beep, beep, beep rings again, Gordon turns, calling to the room. "Let's get this place cleared, now!" Police begin ushering people out, but Bruce hesitates, chilled, as he notices, taped to the DA's chest is a greeting card. It's addressed to the Batman. Blackness lifts, revealing Bruce as he leans in. Reaching into the trunk of his car, he seizes an expensive leather duffel. Bruce slams his trunk, disappearing into the crowd as a flood of emergency vehicles screech into view. Jammed with police, SWAT, ATF, K-9 units, news crews. Outside a crisis command trailer, techs set up monitors as the leads argue. Gordon and his men watch appalled. Unbelievable. They're fighting over jurisdiction, and that poor bastard's gonna blow. The SWAT team crouches. Beside the blast shields in the doorway, rifles are trained on Gil, sitting alone in the distance, the cell on his hand echoing as it just keeps ringing. Gil lifts his head hopeless as a small whirring police robot rolls to a stop before him. He stares oddly as a camera slowly extends toward his head. A command center tech at one of the monitors yells out, "We got a picture!" The leads suddenly quiet, crowding around to see. Gil staring sadly into the robot camera, when suddenly he turns, shock beginning to fill his eyes. What is he looking at? Gil sits there frozen as Batman emerges from the shadows, moving slowly across the floor towards him. Holy shit! As Batman appears on the robot's camera. Are you kidding me? What the hell is he doing? Gordon! Gordon presses closer to see Batman approaching Gil. Your guy's gonna get himself killed in there. Gordon watches with growing concern. As Batman stops, towering over Gil, who rises scared, Batman reaches out, peels the tape off his mouth. He made me do it. He said if I didn't do it exactly what he said, he'd kill me. Please, someone get this thing off. It looks like a combination lock. Can't you cut it off? Batman carefully touches a nasty snarl of tripwires. Not if you want to keep your head. Batman rips the card off Gil's chest. On the cover is a cartoon of an old phone literally ringing off the hook. In these trying times, never forget... ... Batman opens it. I'm just a phone call away. Under that, an angry scrawl. Answer. Batman points to the ringing cell. Gil lifts it. As Batman reaches to press answer. Wait, no, what if it's connected to the... Bong! The phone's screen displays a live split-screen image. Riddler on one side, Batman and Gil on the other. Riddler stares from under his hood for a beat. Then his chilling voice comes calmly through the changer. You came. Who are you? Me? I'm nobody. I'm just an instrument, here to unmask the truth about this cesspool we call a city. Unmask? Yeah, let's do it together, okay? I've been trying to reach you. You're part of this too. Me? How am I part of this? You'll see. Everyone presses around another monitor in horror. It's running the feed from Riddler's phone, broadcasting live through social media. Batman talks to Killer live. Say hello to my followers. We're live. They're here to watch our little trial. Bach turns to the tech beside himself. Can you trace the goddamn call? The command crisis tech throws up his hands. It's not a call, Chief, it's an app. Riddler gazing back at Batman and Gil through the phone. At the moment, the man across from you, Mr. Coulson, is dead. Gil panics. Jesus Christ. Riddler has a chilling calm. Wait a minute. Can we please get someone over here? Shut up. This psycho's gonna kill me. Shut up. Riddler screams. You deserve to be dead after what you did. You hear me? The terrifying outburst makes Gil fall silent. Then, oddly calm. I'm giving you a chance. No one ever gave me a chance. Now, since I was a child, I've always loved little puzzles. For me, they're a retreat from the horrors of our world. Maybe they can bring some comfort to you too, Mr. Coulson. You want me to do puzzles? Yes, 3 riddles in 2 minutes. You give me the answers, and I'll give you the code for the lock. Do you understand? Okay. So you just want me to... Beep! Gil shrieks. A countdown appears on the collar. 2 minutes. Riddler starts without warning. Riddle number 1. It can be cruel, poetic, or blind, but when it's denied, it's violence you may find. Well, can you repeat that? I didn't, cruel, poetic? Justice. What? The answer is justice. Yes, justice. And you were supposed to be an arm of justice in this city, along with the late mayor and police commissioner. Were you not, Mr. Prosecutor? Well, yeah, of course, Riddle number 2. If you are justice, please do not lie. What is the price for your blind eye? Price? Bribes. Oh, God. He's asking how much it costs for you to turn your back. You gotta be kidding me. How much? Like I'm the only one? I didn't do anything worse than anyone else. 58 seconds. How much? Gil hesitates. He can't believe he's doing this. And then, 10 grand. 10 grand a month. I take a monthly payment not to prosecute certain cases. What cases? Hey, he didn't ask that. Come on. 10 grand, that's your answer. Okay, don't lose your head, Mr. Coulson. Just one more to go before your time runs out. Last riddle. Since your justice is so select, please tell us which vermin you're paid to protect. Jesus, which vermin? The rat, the informant you all protect. How do you know about that? I'm trying to help you. What's his name? No, you don't understand. 20 seconds. Grabbing him hard. He's gonna kill you. I'm dead either way. You're talking to a dead man, okay? If I go this way, it's just me. But if I give you that name, I got family, people I care about. They're gonna kill them too. What are you talking about? People are watching. What people? Who? Listen to me, goddammit. You may think you know what this is, but you don't. It's so much bigger than you could ever imagine. It's the whole system. 3, 2, 1. Goodbye. Oh no. Okay. Somebody get this off of me. Somebody. Seeing the counter hit 0, Batman turns, shielding himself. Kaboom. A blast erupts, propelling Batman back. Batman's suit is in flames. As he slams to the floor, smoke swallowing him. We only hear high-pitched ringing. Batman lies dazed. He struggles to lift his eyes. As Gordon rushes forward, and other cops too, guns drawn, some around Gil's now lifeless body, others around Batman who gazes back, vision blurring, cops yelling all around him as he blacks out. Batman comes to, focusing on a tactical medic shining light in his eyes. Voices fade in, cops above in debate, gazing down with contempt, Gordon holding them off, when one grabs for Batman's mask. What are we doing here? Just take it off. Hey! Gordon defends him. Gordon pushes the cop back, giving Batman room to rise off the interrogation table. You're protecting this guy, Gordon? He interfered in an active hostage situation. Coulson's blood is on his hands. Maybe it's on yours. What did you say? He'd rather die than talk. What was he afraid of? You? You son of a bitch. You have any idea what kind of trouble you're in? You could be an accessory to murder. Why are we playing games here, Chief? He grabs onto the cowl and Batman erupts, knocking him off balance. More cops launch themselves at Batman. It's a wild melee. Batman having his way with them. As the room goes crazy. Alarmed, Gordon tries to break it up. Whoa, back off. Great, now I got you on assaulting an officer. Batman steps at the cop again. You got me on assaulting 3. Hey, what's the matter with you? Gordon pushes him back, surprisingly hard. Batman stops, shocked, eyes flaring. Gordon glares back, serious, their eyes locking until Batman fills with contempt. You too now. Let me handle this, Chief. Dark eyes on Batman. Give me a minute. You gonna put yourself on the line for this scumbag, Jim? Just give me a minute. He opens the door and tensely escorts Batman out. As cops crowd out to watch from a distance, at the far end, Gordon gives Batman a shove. They face each other, angry expressions. Gordon utters low, We gotta get you out of here. Batman responds in kind, making it look like an argument. That'll put a lot of heat on you. Well, you punched me in the face. Uh-huh. Those stairs lead to the roof. Batman's eyes clock the door. When beyond, he spots a group of detectives conferring, struck, realizing one is the mustached bouncer from the Iceberg Lounge. Who's the mustache? That's Kenzie in narcotics. He's one of the guys I got into it with at the Iceberg Lounge. What are you saying? Kenzie moonlights for Penguin? Or he moonlights as a cop? When Kenzie sees Batman staring, alarmed, and without warning, Batman punches Gordon right in the face. Gordon goes down. Batman breaks for the stairwell, the cops starting madly down the hall after him. Batman rips out his grapple gun in the stairwell and launches the hook to the railing 10 stories above, retracting the line and lifting upwards as cops enter, firing after him. Batman blasts from the stairwell on the roof to the edge, gazing at the huge drop, the din of cops approaching. As he reaches down, yanking tabs on each heel, zipping his cloak to his boots, his legs, his arms. The cops charge the roof, aiming at Batman. As he plummets off the edge, the cops race over to see Batman soaring wildly down, his cape now a wingsuit. Their shocked faces recede as we fly with Batman, descending rapidly and dangerously to the street below, where Batman hits into a hard-shouldered roll, spinning wildly to his feet and disappearing into the night. Batman waits in the rain in the unfinished skyscraper high over the city. As the elevator arrives, Gordon steps out, face bruised, shaking his head. "You could have at least pulled your punch, man." "I did." "Bach put out an APB on you. You really think he's in on this?" "I don't trust any of them. Do you?" "I only trust you." "What's a narcotics cop doing with Falcone's right-hand man?" "Coulson said cops protect the rat. Maybe Kenzie's part of it." "You think Penguin's the rat?" "His club caters to the mob. Maroni was a regular. Penguin would have been privy to a lot of dirt. And the DA was a regular too. Maybe Penguin got himself into some trouble, making a deal to get his way out." "The Rata-a-Lata." "What?" "Riddler's latest. The cipher in the maze. It means rat with wings, like a stool pigeon." Gordon suddenly getting it. "A penguin has got wings too." Time for me to have another conversation with him. "What about the Riddler? He's gonna kill again." "It's all connected. Like it or not, it's his game now. We want to find Riddler, we gotta find that rat." "You think Penguin'll talk?" "I'll be persuasive." We hear menacing breathing as we lurk, watching the rear of the club through rain and fog as wipers swish. The breath stops as Penguin exits with Kenzie and the twins. Kenzie has 2 duffels. He opens the trunk of his Camry. "Wonder what's in the bags," Gordon says over the radio. "Should we move in?" Gordon waits tensely with his walkie, watching Penguin and the twins get into an Escalade when an answer comes. "Let's follow them." The cars take off past Gordon. The Camry and Escalade stop by a weathered sign, Gotham Recycling, a renewal corp. Kenzie honks his horn. A roll door lifts. He and Penguin get out. Gordon sees them approaching the building and lifts his walkie. "They stopped on Waterfront Street, the recycling plant." A beat. Then Batman crackles quietly back. "I'm here." High over Penguin and Kenzie from the warehouse roof, a cowl presses into frame. Batman. The 2 men enter the building and move with Batman, to look in a skylight at the plant below, where workers lead Penguin to a crew in surgical masks, filling vials with chemicals by bubbling cookers. Penguin inspects the operation. A man in a suit arrives, shaking his hand. Batman watches as eyedroppers are screwed into the vials. Batman whispers into his wrist. "It's a drug lab. Drops. This is a buy." Looks like they got Maroni's operation up and running again. Or they never shut it down at all. "What are you saying? Biggest drug bust in GCPD history was a fraud?" Batman spots a glint strafing from below and moves to the edge. A dark figure coasts on a motorcycle in the alley. Selina in her catsuit. She hops off, uncoiling her motorcycle lock chain. Batman whispers into his wrist. "This just got complicated." Gordon cocks his head, quizzical. What do you mean? The twins stand under umbrellas by the Camry. One hears a clink by his feet, looks down to see the lock chain looping from under the car around his ankles. It yanks tight, sending him face first into the ground. The other twin turns, confused. Where'd my brother go? He moves around to see. Selina wielding the chain like a whip, snapping it to his face. He crumples too. Selina pops the trunk, flips her visor, gazing inside at a trio of duffels. She unzips one stuffed with cash. A voice behind her. Dangerous crowd you're stealing from. Selina spins, ready to strike, when she sees Batman. Jesus! This how you get your kicks, hun? Sneaking up on girls in the dark? That's why you work at the club? It was all just a score? You know, I'd love to sit here and go over every gory detail with you, Bat Boy, but those assholes will be back. She shoulders 2 duffels, unzips the third, falling silent. Batman moves closer. Inside is a body. Filling with dread, she opens the bag further to see Annika's face. Selina is rocked, eyes well with rage and tears, when suddenly the Camry is riddled with gunfire. Batman lunges for Selina, pushing her to cover. As he takes on a hail of bullets, Selina spins to see Batman motionless on the ground. She peeks out to see Penguin by the roll door, firing an Uzi pistol, backed up by Kenzie and a crew of thugs, who are firing too. Gordon hits the gas, screeching closer, skidding to a stop, and jumps behind the driver door, raising his gun, as Penguin stalks for the Camry, shooting, berserk. Kenzie grabs the duffels of money as the others fire at Gordon. Selina crawls on hands and knees in terror. She looks back to where Batman fell, but he's no longer there. Suddenly a guttural, terrifyingly loud engine growls. Penguin spins to the inky darkness of the alley to see flames shooting ominously from side exhausts, red nitrous vapor blasts. The flash revealing a menacing form, a vision from a horror movie. The Batmobile. Penguin and the others gape at the emblem of vengeance, and Penguin just bolts for the Escalade, diving in. Kenzie is about to follow when a roar comes from the opposite direction, Selina charging him on her bike, snatching the duffels right from his hand and racing away. Penguin's Escalade screeches out, the Batmobile catapulting after him. With a crazy nitrous hit, fishtailing, tires finally grip the ground, and Gordon watches in awe as it vanishes into the fog and rain. Tires violently drumming on wet cobblestones, Penguin manning the Escalade in panic, as the Batmobile charges in and out of view like a raging, hungry shark. Boom! It slams brutally into the Escalade, trying to muscle it off the road. Jesus Christmas! Penguin scrambles for his Uzi, unleashing it through his passenger window, glass and bullets spraying the Batmobile. Hits sparks off its armored surface and bulletproof windows, as it slams hard into the Escalade again. Penguin struggles for control, suddenly cranking the wheel and steering off the road, lurching wildly up an embankment and right onto the highway. 90-mile-per-hour traffic swerving and colliding as a massive display of vehicles madly hydroplane. The SUV spins across lanes, slowing just enough to regain control. Penguin snaps his head to see the Batmobile cresting the embankment. Penguin punches it, veering off down the flooded highway, water spraying in his wake, the Batmobile barreling after. Penguin slaloms recklessly through speeding traffic, barely maintaining control. His crazed eyes flit to the rear view, the Batmobile relentlessly matching him move for move. Desperate, the Penguin streaks ahead and suddenly is walled in by a long line of 18-wheelers, chugging at high speed. Penguin glances back. The Batmobile is gaining. Nowhere to go now, trapped. Penguin does something crazy. He accelerates even faster past the lead truck, jerking right in front of him. The truck screeches, immediately hydroplaning and setting off a chain reaction. Batman sees the horrifying sight of massive trucks ahead, all jackknifing one after another, the Batmobile heading straight for an unavoidable, cataclysmic collision. Batman seizes the nitrous line trigger, squeezing it. The Batmobile suddenly launches toward the trucks. Batman yanking the wheel, skidding into a crazy drift. Penguin looks back as the trucks all converge around the doomed, careening Batmobile, obscuring it from view. Ha! I got you! Take that, you friggin' psycho! I got you! When, to Penguin's shock, the Batmobile reappears, two wheels flipping up onto the center divider, the tilted car shooting through the narrow space on the shoulder beside the expanding pileup. The Batmobile barely clearing the destruction. Penguin's eyes widen as it swerves off the divider, right at the Escalade. Holy shit! The Batmobile rams savagely into the Escalade, the two vehicles locking together as they spin. On Batman, the world blurring around him. Batmobile shakes as he keeps his foot furiously on the gas, until finally, the two vehicles smash straight into a line of yellow off-ramp crash barrels. The Batmobile disengages as the Escalade flips. Inside the Escalade, the Penguin rolls over and over until he stops upside down. The Penguin bleeds, stunned, hearing only pounding rain now. He gazes out the window, disoriented to see upside-down bat boots walking surreally into view on the road right outside. Batman crouches slowly into frame, Penguin's bloodshot eyes widening. As Batman leans in eerily and thrusts a hood over his face, swallowing us in blackness. Penguin's head slams into the side of a train car. The hood is yanked off. He looks around in panic, hands and feet bound, Batmobile's headlights in his face. Batman looms in near silhouette before him as a figure gets out another car, joining ominously. It's Gordon. Jesus, the hell is this? Good cop, batshit cop? Who is the Riddler? The Riddler? How should I know? Let's make it easy for you, Oz. Cops caught you doing something. They were going to shut you down and put you away, so you gave up a bigger fish to save your ass. You ratted out Salvatore Maroni, his drops operation. And then, the cops and city officials, the mayor, the DA, they all got greedy, right? Wasn't enough to score a big career-making bust. They had to take over the drops business too, but they needed a minor league mope like you to run it. You just don't work for Carmine Falcone. You work for them too. What are you, crazy? That's why you killed the girl. I didn't kill anybody. We know she worked for you at 44 Below. She got too close, right? She found out from Mitchell you were the rat, so you killed her. But somehow Riddler knows too. He knows so much about you, you must know about him. Who is he? Boy, you guys are a hell of a duet here. Why don't you start harmonizing? Only one problem with your little scenario, okay? I ain't no rat. You got any idea what Carmine Falcone would do to me if he heard this kind of talk? Oh, you don't want to talk about rats. Why don't we talk about what they did to my partner's face? Gruesome crime scene photos are thrust in Penguin's face. Holy God, what are you showing me? Pay attention. This was around his head, okay? It's a rat maze. Oh, open your eyes. Are you El Rata Alada? El Rata Alada? Yeah, a rat with wings. A stool pigeon. That's not you? These symbols in the maze, right here. It says, you are El Rata Alada. El Rata? It says that? Why? Got something you want to tell us, Oz? Yeah, that's like the worst Spanish I ever heard. What? It's La Rata. What is the Riddler, stupid or something? Thrown, Gordon loses steam as Batman silently takes the maze photo, eyeing the cipher. Gordon watches him. Jesus, look at you two. World's greatest detectives. Am I the only one that knows the difference between El and La? No Espanol, fellas? Do me a favor, shithead, and shut up. Penguin falls silent. Gordon steps over to Batman. Do you think he made a mistake? Batman studies the cipher. He doesn't make mistakes. A rat with wings. You know what that sounds like to me? A friggin' bat. You ever think of that? You are El Rata. URL. It's a URL. Batman and Gordon gaze at a laptop which sits on the roof. Batman types www.rataalada.com into the browser. The screen goes black. A dead link. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe he's not as smart as we... Wait. A blinking plain text cursor appears alone on the screen. They watch it pulse eerily when it starts typing text. Holy shit, is that him? Their eyes follow the cursor. Did you find him? Batman reaches for the keys and types El Rata Alada. The cursor hesitates, blinking, then types back, yes. Batman writes, maybe. Is a penguin a rat with wings? Another pause, then more text. Interesting. Then you're missing the big picture. The hell does that mean? Is he or isn't he? Batman holds up a quieting hand. Then another text begins. I need to show you more for you to understand. Then, my next victim is the biggest piece of the puzzle yet. Gordon and Batman exchange a look of dread. Batman types, victim? Then, dead? The cursor pauses creepily and writes back, he will be soon. Here's a clue to where you can find him. The cursor writes out a riddle. Gordon reads along. I grew up from a seed, tough as a weed, but in a mansion in a slum. I'll never know where I come from. Do you know what I am? Then to Batman. Any idea? Yeah, he's an orphan. Batman types, an orphan? The cursor writes, goodbye. The screen goes black. Something haunts Batman. A mansion in a slum. He's talking about the old orphanage. The one that burned down? It was part of the Wayne estate. They donated it after they built the tower. Let's go. They start off when a voice cries from off screen. Hey, you guys realize I'm still here, right? We reveal Penguin, hands and feet still helplessly bound. You gotta untie me. How am I supposed to get out of here? They get into their cars, starting off. You goddamn son of a bitches! The Batmobile approaches a faded sign. A Gotham renewal project investing in our future. Batman slows, arriving at the burnt-down remains of the Gotham orphanage. Blackness shatters as the front doors are kicked in. Batman and Gordon stare in. Gordon raises his guns. No guns. Yeah, man, that's your thing. As they enter, scanning black walls and floors, rain drips inside. Gordon beams land on white-painted arrows freshly scrawled over soot. He pans along them to a Gothic staircase. Batman and Gordon exchange a look and begin following more arrows up the steps to a long, foreboding hallway of doors upstairs. More arrows point on. Gordon sweeps his light into empty rooms when they notice eerie echoing in the distance. What's that? As they move closer, it sounds like music. A distant boys' choir singing Schubert's Ave Maria. Weird giggling comes suddenly from close by. They lift their eyes, a silhouetted figure emerging from the door. It freezes, startled to see Batman and Gordon. Hey! Hey! The figure bolts to another room, slamming the door. Batman and Gordon already chasing. Gordon raising his gun and smashing the door. They look inside to see a group of Drops addicts, scrawled on melted metal bed frames, faces contorted in frozen grins. One giggles in a daze. Gordon swings his light to the figure from the hallway, who cowers, gripping a bottle and eyedropper. Friggin' dropheads. When they hear, cheers and applause ring out as the distant singing stops. A man's voice begins echoing. Thank you everyone, thank you for coming today. The hell is that? Something in the echoing voice strikes Batman. Gordon watches surprised as Batman starts toward the sound. We move with him to the end of the hall, near the sound of the voice. Batman looks up haunted. White paint above the doorway says, where it all began. He steps into a grand hall, Batman dwarfed by the massive burnt-out room. He squints at a beam of light, sparkling through dripping rain. It's from a cheap mini USB projector on a tiny tripod. Batman looks at the wall, where an old GC1 clip flickers. The man with the echoing voice gives a speech in front of a boys' choir in the very room Batman now stands in. A chyron explains why Batman is so affected. It's Thomas Wayne. Batman watches unnerved, staring at a ghost. I believe in Gotham. I believe in its promise, but too many have been left behind for too long. That's why I'm here today to announce not only my candidacy for mayor, but also the creation of the Gotham Renewal Fund. Win or lose, the Wayne Foundation pledges $1 billion donation to start a charitable endowment for public works. I want to bypass political gridlock to get money to the people and projects who need it now, like these children behind me. Renewal is about growth, it's about planting seeds and renewing Gotham's promise. Batman is struck by the sight of 10-year-old Bruce beside his mother. Batman's eyes drift to more white painted words on a wall beside the projected image. Renewal is a lie. Batman stares, disturbed, when a voice behind him startles him out of his reverie. Sins of the Father. Batman spins. It's Gordon. He follows Gordon's gaze to more writing on the wall. The sins of the Father shall be visited upon the Son. Gordon walks closer, staring, as he gets it too. Jesus, his next victim is Bruce Wayne. He turns for confirmation, but Batman is already gone. Somewhere in Wayne Tower, the phone rings twice, but no one comes to answer. A tiny illuminated screen flashing, no caller ID. Engine roaring, we hear ringing on hands-free. Batman staring at his phone, willing someone to pick up. Back to Alfred, alone in the study. We hear only the insistent ringing of the phone as Alfred opens piles of mail, when he notices a bulging manila mailer. He picks it up, curious, and reads the scrawled lettering, personal/confidential, for Bruce Wayne's eyes only. He starts to open it. Batman is now screaming, but all we hear is the ringing phone as the Batmobile rips into the rolling park. Alfred pulls a gift-wrapped box from the mailer. He sees a silver envelope taped to it. His eyes widen in shock as he discovers the envelope reads, "For the Batman." The insistent phone growing louder, like a warning, as he flips the envelope, puzzled to find a label. Fireproof. Alarmed. Alfred glances at the gift-wrapped box and sees wires protruding from the paper. Back to the phone. The ringing finally stops as a woman's hand picks up. Hello? Dory, I need to speak to Alfred. Oh, Mr. Wayne, listen to me. Something terrible is going to happen. For the first time, we see Dory's face. She's distraught. I'm afraid it already has, sir. Batman lifts his eyes with dread as Wayne Tower comes into view. Black smoke plumes from an upper floor. Firemen aim hoses from telescopic ladders, dousing flames. Back to Alfred in the study. Standing with the package one last second, tossing it as he dives, the package suddenly erupts, and we hear, "About an hour ago." Batman rocked, realizing he never had a chance to save him. An anguished tear begins to spill. "I'm so sorry. I've been trying to reach you." As a blur wipes in front of her to reveal emergency personnel swarming the stairs of a lower tower landing. In a hushed voice, GCPD detective, "The package was intended for you." Bruce, stunned, as detectives speak in the aftermath. "We found this, too." He shows Bruce the silver envelope, to the Batman, then pulls out a heat-scorched greeting card with cartoon eyes. Bruce looks. Scrawled inside is, "See you in hell." Any reason you'd be targeted? On Bruce, as he just stares at the words, stunned. Bruce gazes through the glass at Alfred, bandaged and unconscious, breathing through an oxygen mask as nurses attend to him. A doctor emerges and moves to Bruce, grave. "We've sedated him. We just have to hope he stabilizes. You should go home, Mr. Wayne. Get some sleep. Bruce nods, but it isn't clear he's even heard what the doctor said. The doctor stares at him and says gently, "Is there anyone else to notify? Next of kin?" Finally, Bruce turns, disoriented. No, it's just me." A heavy table scrapes across the tiled floor of Wayne Tower. We hear a hiss of a spray can. White lines spray on the tile. Close on photos of the mayor and Annika, commissioner and the drops pusher. Scrawled words, Mitchell, Savage Coulson. When the hissing stops, we reveal Bruce, shirtless on hands and knees, spray can in hand, staring down at something on the floor. Utterly tortured, as he begins to rise slowly to his feet, we see the dining room floor is now a massive evidence board. Lines connect details. He's frozen on one area. It says, "The sins of my father," followed by 3 question marks. On Bruce's eyes, as they bore into the words, then shift intensely to another phrase, "Renewal is a lie." A yellow crime scene tape breaks as Bruce enters the study, moving past the charred aftermath of the explosion to a huge antique wood cabinet. He opens a long drawer, close on legal files, as fingers dig to find a tab. Renewal. Bruce rifles through and opens the next drawer. More renewal files. The next. Walled in by enormous stacks of files, Bruce searching them. He closes one, fumbling for another, when a huge stack begins to topple. He lurches to save it, knocking over more, then thousands of pages spilling. Bruce watches helplessly as they scatter everywhere. He stands there watching it all settle, and finally he snaps, hurling over the other stacks, paper exploding everywhere. Bruce's pent-up fury unleashed, smashing up the room, destroying everything, furniture, art. His rage is terrifying, even as he begins to exhaust himself, running out of things to smash, but not sated, searching for more, when he sees something. Alfred's monogrammed cufflink. If Bruce would ever allow himself to cry, it would be now. He stares, stone-faced, at the link, eyes just beginning to well. Bruce sets down renewal files on his workbench in the Batcave, lifting his laptop screen when he notices an open window. The contact lens interface. Now there's a live image. A handwritten sign faces camera. "Where are you?" Surprised, Batman picks up the earpiece. "Selina?" Selina appears, staring blindly at the camera. "Can you see me?" "Yeah." "I need to talk. Where can we go?" We cut to the unfinished skyscraper. Batman's silhouette gazing darkly at Gotham. When the elevator arrives, he turns as Selina emerges in her catsuit, removing her wind mask. He looks at her with edge. "Cat burglar, pulling another score? It's not safe for me here now. Wasn't sure I'd see you again." "Yeah, well, things were getting a little hot for me." "How could they do that to her? I'm gonna find them and make them pay. That piece of shit, Kenzie. All of them. You gonna help me?" "Help you?" "Yeah, I thought you were vengeance." "Your friend got involved with the wrong people. She didn't know better. Maybe you should have explained to her." "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" "It means your choices have consequences." "Oh, Jesus Christ, choices? You know, whoever the hell you are, obviously you grew up rich." He just stares back, giving nothing away. "Was it worth it?" "What?" "Compromising yourself for money?" She stares at him. "What did you have to do to set up that score? How close did you have to get to Penguin, to Falcone?" "You don't know what the hell you're talking about, okay? Falcone owes me that money." "He owes you?" "Yeah, and a lot more." "Oh, really? Why's that?" Moving to leave. "Forget it. I can't even talk to you." Batman grabs her hard. "No, tell me. I want to know. Why would a guy like Falcone owe you anything?" "Because he's my father." Batman falls silent, stunned. She shrugs him off and stands there, eyes burning, and then quietly. "My mother worked at 44 Below, just like Ani. She used to take me there when I was a little girl. To the club? I hid out in the dressing room while she worked. I used to see him there. He scared the shit out of me. I could never understand why he looked at me the way he did. Then one night, my mother told me who he was. He studies her as she gazes out at the skyline. When I was 7, my mother was murdered. Someone strangled her. They never found out who. Probably some creep from the club. Anyway, when social services came to take me away, he didn't say a thing. Couldn't even look at me. He owes me that money. He looks at her, taking her in for the first time, and nods. Sorry for what I said. She smiles and studies his eyes. It's all right. You just assume the worst in people. Maybe we aren't so different after all. Running a finger along his mask. Who are you under there? What are you hiding? Are you just hideously scarred? Batman eyes on hers. Yeah. She smiles and smiles back. There's chemistry between them. Listen to me. If we don't stand up for Ani, no one will. All anyone cares about in this place are these white, privileged assholes. The mayor, the commissioner, the DA, now Thomas and Bruce Wayne. Far as I'm concerned, that psycho's right to go after these creeps. I'd think you'd be on his side. What do you mean, Thomas and Bruce Wayne? What, do you live in a cave? The Riddler's latest. It's all about the Waynes. He's silently struck, but Selina doesn't even notice. Listen, if I can find that dickbag Kenzie, will you help me? He looks at her, reeling, sees her pleading eyes, quiet and intimate. Please, come on, vengeance. Batman finally nods. Then, but don't make any moves without me, understand? This is all more dangerous than you know. She cuts him off with a long kiss, then pulls slowly back, staring into his eyes, whispering with a smile. I told you, baby. I can take care of myself. She starts off. He watches her go. As we hear, I'm Thomas Wayne, and I approve this message. As Copland's fanfare for the common man begins, Batman pulls off his cowl in the Batcave, revealing Bruce, black camo and sweat running down his face. Around his eyes, he stares rattled at GC1 on a huge LED TV. The chyron reads, Explosive new Riddler video goes viral. Killer's message has over 13 million views. The video is a 20-year-old campaign ad. Thomas Wayne at the orphanage, Martha and young Bruce beside him. From a very young age, my family, Martha's family, the Arkhams, instilled in both of us that giving back is just not an obligation, it's a passion. That is our family's legacy. The image freezes, eerie music swallowing the fanfare as the video takes on the tone of a political attack ad. Vintage family photos of the Waynes and Arkhams appear. In the Riddler's eerie voice changer. The Waynes and the Arkhams, Gotham's founding families. But what is their real legacy? The photos bleed red, turning darker, as a Gotham Gazette reporter's byline photo fades up. 20 years ago, one reporter set out to uncover the dark truth. He found shocking family secrets. Flashes of police and autopsy photos fill the screen. How when Martha was just a child, her mother brutally murdered her father and then committed suicide. How the Arkhams used their power and money to cover it up. We see a death certificate. Cause of death accidental. How Martha herself was in and out of institutions for years, and they didn't want anyone to know. Shots of an institution, spying through a fence at a disturbed young woman surrounded by nurses. Thomas Wayne tried to force this crusading reporter into a hush-money agreement to save his mayoral campaign. As Thomas shakes hands on the campaign trail, a legal document spins on screen. The word hush appears. When the reporter refused, Wayne turned to a longtime associate, Mafia Kingpin Carmine Falcone, and had him murdered. A gunshot rings out. News footage of the dead reporter plays. The headline, Gangland-style execution. As a super enlarged photo from the orphanage dedication fades up, Thomas and Carmine Falcone talking conspiratorially. The Waynes and the Arkhams, Gotham's legacy of lies and murder. We see a campaign poster. Mayor has been crossed out. It reads, Thomas Wayne for murderer. Riddler appears. One by one, Gotham's pillars fall. On Judgment Day, the wreckage will consume us all. Goodbye. On Bruce, absolutely rocked. The club music rises. In the blackness, a door swings open, revealing Bruce outside the club. Do you know who I am? Reveal one of the twin bouncers staring in shock. You're Bruce Wayne. I want to see Carmine Falcone. The bouncer just looks at him, then shuts the door. The door opens, both twins standing there now. See? The twin stares in disbelief as Bruce glares, then breaks into an excited smile, like he's seeing a rock star. Come on in. The doors open. We follow Bruce down a long hallway to a drawing room. Hoods and hospitality women crowd around a pool table, drinking and playing at the table. Carmine Falcone looks over to see Bruce, the twins behind him. Bruce glowers silently at Falcone, who stares back with a smirk. When the others begin to notice, quieting. Give us a minute, fellas. The bodyguards usher everyone out. Have a seat. But Bruce just stands there. Thought I might hear from you. This Riddler son of a bitch is really stirring things up, isn't he? Is it true? What, the reporter business? A beat. Falcone studies Bruce's rage-filled eyes. What do you want to know here, kid? What are you looking for? The truth. Did you kill him for my father? Look, your father saved my life. I was loyal to him. I even tried to give money to his campaign, the whole renewal thing, but he wouldn't take it. He didn't want to associate with a guy like me. My father hated everything you stand for. Yeah, I know. Of course he did. Guys like you, your father, you don't want anything to do with me. He darkens, bitter. Till you need me, right? A beat as they look at each other. Your father was in trouble, okay? This reporter had some dirt, some very personal stuff about your mother, his family history. You know, everybody's got their dirty laundry, that's how it is. But he didn't want none of that coming out. Not right before the election. Your father tried to pay this guy off, but he wasn't going for it, so he came to me. I never seen him like that. He said, I want you to put the fear of God in this guy. Bruce stares, unnerved. And when fear isn't enough, you take it to the next level. Your father wanted me to handle it. So I did. I handled it. Bruce is truly unmoored. Falcone enjoying his pain. I know, you thought your father was a Boy Scout, but you'd be surprised what even a good man like him is capable of in the right situation. Do me a favor, don't lose any sleep over this, okay? This reporter was a lowlife. He was on Maroni's payroll. He got what was coming. Maroni? Oh yeah, Maroni could never stand your father and I had history. And after what happened with this reporter, I think he was worried that your father would be in my pocket forever. He would have done anything to keep him from being mayor. You understand? Bruce shakes his head, reeling, resisting the notion. Sure you do. Are you saying Salvatore Maroni had my father killed? Falcone lets it hang in the air. Do I know it for a fact? I'm just saying it sure looked that way to me. As the shock hits Bruce, Falcone regards him coldly. This is what you wanted? This little conversation here? Bruce can't even respond. I suppose it's been a long time coming. I mean, you ain't a kid no more. We cut to Wayne Tower. Bruce arriving at the top of the stairs in a daze. He stops and stares around at the chained and padlocked set of doors. Untouched in 20 years, Bruce's parents' bedroom, a frozen moment covered in dust. Bruce enters, taking in the unbearable stillness. In the early light, he sees a man's suit jacket draped on a chair. A pair of glasses rest on an old newspaper. He turns, seeing a stained teacup, askew in its saucer on the woman's dressing table behind it. On the mirror, yellowed children's crayon drawings. His. One, a stick figure, smiling. Family, mother, father, child. A quiet heart monitor beeping. As Bruce stares, we cut to Alfred's hospital room. Alfred opens his eyes to see Bruce sitting at his bedside, rumpled. Bruce smiles sadly, finally speaking, pained. You lied to me. My whole life. I spoke to Carmine Falcone. Pain and shock fill Alfred's eyes. He blinks away and then back. Finally, he struggles for voice, hoarse. What did he say? He told me what he did for my father, and about Salvatore Moroni. Alfred's eyes burning, trying to understand. He told you Salvatore Moroni had my father killed. Alfred just gazes pained. Alfred, why didn't you tell me all this? I spent all these years fighting for him, believing he was a good man. He was a good man. Bruce shakes his head, but Alfred grows more fierce. Listen to me. Your father was a good man. He made a mistake. A mistake? He had a man killed. Why? To protect the family image? His political aspirations? It wasn't to protect the family image. He didn't have anyone killed. The forcefulness of this makes Bruce stop. He looks at Alfred, who continues, simply emotional. He was protecting your mother. He didn't care about his image, his campaign, any of that. He cared about her and you. These secrets about your mother's family, they haunted her. She'd battled them every single day. We all have our scars, Bruce. And if your father knew, if everything came out, it'd be too much for her and it would destroy her. He loved her so much. In a moment of weakness, he turned to Falcone. He never thought Falcone would kill the man. Your father should have known that Falcone would do anything to finally have something on him he could use, to own him. That's who Falcone is. That was your father's mistake. When Falcone told him what he'd done, your father was distraught. He told Falcone he was going to the police, that he'd confess everything. And that night, your father and mother were killed. Bruce is stunned. It was Falcone? Alfred looks at him sadly, so wanting to give Bruce the answer he needs, the answer he's wanted his whole life. I wish I knew for sure. Yes, maybe. Or maybe it was some random thug on the street who needed money, who got scared and pulled the trigger too fast. If you don't think I've spent every day searching for that answer. It was my job to protect them, do you understand? I knew you always blamed yourself. I could see the fear in your eyes, but I didn't know how to help. I could teach you to fight, but I wasn't prepared to take care of you. You needed a father, but all you had was me. I'm sorry. Alfred averts his eyes, red with heartbreak and regret. Bruce stares at him, deeply affected. No, Alfred, don't be sorry. God, I never thought I'd feel fear like that again. I thought I'd mastered all that. I mean, I'm not afraid to die. His unflinching gaze meets Alfred, who nods, solemn. Then Bruce's eyes shift away again, processing. But I realize now, there's something I never got past. The fear of ever going through any of that again. He looks at Alfred. Of losing someone that I care about. Alfred looks back, moved. He smiles with tears in his eyes. Well, I'm afraid you won't get rid of me just yet. Bruce smiles sadly back and then gazes off. I went into their room last night. Alfred is quietly struck. It all seemed so much smaller. Alfred watches Bruce, a fleeting glimpse of the man as a boy. He reaches out a hand. Bruce stares, surprised, then lifts his own, clasping Alfred's tightly. Then Bruce darkens, noticing something outside the window. Alfred turns and sees the bat signal in the sky. The Batmobile arrives at the abandoned skyscraper, emerging to see Gordon getting out of his car too. They trade confused looks. Hey, I saw the signal. That's not you? I thought it was you. They both lift their eyes to the spotlight in the sky. We hear screams as the upper door comes into view. We glimpse Selina in a catsuit, viciously kicking someone. Shocked, Batman and Gordon rush from the lift. Selina has a prisoner bound by her lock chain to the guardrail at the building's edge. Kenzie, his face swollen. She's got a Glock in both hands. Prowling, crazed, she sees Batman and spins, fierce. "I found him." "I see that." What are we gonna do? He had my shit, my phone. She left a message the night he took her. She called me." Kenzie, totally freaked. Gordon, help me out, man." Selina kicks him again. "Shut up." "Put down the gun." "I'm telling you, goddammit, she called me." Pulling out the phone. "Here, listen." She hits play on the voicemail and tosses the phone to Batman. Gordon steps closer. The distorted message plays, panicked breathing as an angry voice approaches. "What? Back here, where are you going?" Nowhere, Another man's voice joins, yelling over them. Hey, what are you doing? Come on, Kenzie, you're scaring her." I'm sorry, Mr. Falcone." "Hey, are you okay? Come here. Please don't hurt me." "Don't be scared. Come here. Now let me ask you again. What did Mitchell tell you?" "Nothing. Don liked to talk. I know that. Especially to pretty girls like you. That's why I made him take your passport till we could have this little conversation. All I want to do is get out of here, okay? You'll never hear from me again. Nobody will." "We're gonna get you out of here, I promise. But first, I gotta know, what did he tell you?" He said they made a deal with you." "Oh, he told you about that, huh? A deal?" "Yeah, a long time ago. He said you gave some information on some drops and helped a lot of people, and that's how he became mayor, and he said you were a very important man." "Right. Okay." And suddenly Annika begins shrieking. It's agonizing. Batman's gaze shifts to Selina, who stares off, tears beginning, as Annika's cries turn to desperate gasps. Falcone strains, eerie calm over the phone. "Just take it easy, okay? Take it easy." "Jesus, he's strangling her." Selina's eyes lift to Batman's, alive with rage. As the recording finally ends, everyone's silent. Gordon turns to Batman, reeling. When Batman's eyes lift to his, "Rata alata. A falcon has wings too. Falcone is the rat." Gordon turns slowly to Kenzie. They move toward him. "He worked for you guys. The DA, the mayor." Kenzie looks up at them, terrified, when he cracks. "No, we work for him. Everybody does." "How?" "Through renewal. Renewal is everything." "The renewal fund?" Kenzie's shaking. It spills out. "Yeah, after Thomas Wayne died, they all went after it like vultures. The mayor, Falcone, Maroni, everyone got in. It was perfect for making bribes, laundering money. A huge charitable fund with no oversight. Everybody got a piece. But Falcone, he wanted more. So he orchestrated a play to take down Maroni. Big. He'd rat out his drop operation, make the careers of everybody that went after him, then install them all as his puppets. He would run the city. He's been doing it ever since. You think this goddamn election matters? Falcone's the mayor. He's been mayor for the last 20 years. Selina turns to Batman, a truly scary look in her eyes. "Come on, Vengeance, let's go kill that son of a bitch." The gun on Kenzie. "This creep too. Let's finish this." "Oh, God." Whoa. A black glove knocks the gun to the floor. "No." Selina spins, ready to strike. "We'll get him, but not this way." "There is no other way. He owns the city." "Cross that line, you'll become just like him." Beside herself, she realizes he's not with her. "Listen to me. Don't throw your life away." Finally, she turns back to him and smiles, fatalistic. "Don't worry, honey." With dancer's grace, she lifts a leg, touching her heel provocatively to Kenzie's chest, then hardening. "I've got 9 of them." Kenzie's eyes widen as she kicks him through the guardrail, knocking him off the building. Gordon lurches forward on instinct as Batman triggers his quick-draw slider, firing a harpoon into Kenzie's ankle, fiercely yanking the line taut to save him. "Jesus Christ!" As Batman, struggling to hold on, spins to see Selina leaping off the edge with a Glock, launching for a cable on a construction crane, just making it, sliding down the line, swinging off and disappearing. Gordon helps Batman pull a whimpering Kenzie back up. Gordon turns to Batman, who's yanking a weird hook from his belt, securing it on the edge with no time to lose. "She'll never get out of here alive. If she kills Falcone, we may never find the Riddler. I have to stop her." "Don't you mean we? I gotta do this my way." "And then what?" Batman looks up as he finishes. "We do what Riddler said." Tosses him Selina's phone. "Bring the rat into the light." Gordon stares at the phone, nods, then suddenly gets it. Batman jumps back, rappelling off the tower. At high speed, hurtling down a service road under an elevated highway, Selina screeching through the maze of columns on her bike. We pan as she screeches past, heading toward the Iceberg Lounge, disappearing behind the building. Selina whips off her helmet, ejects the Glock's clip to inspect rounds, and slams it back. She unzips her bodysuit. The Batmobile roars on the service road, threading columns. When it skids to a stop, hidden in shadow, Batman peers at Selina outside the club, under the flickering street lamp, now in her slit dress, as the twins let her in. We slow zoom, Batman staring, intense, deciding what to do. The music pounds as we move toward a guard beside a private elevator. His eyes brazenly check us out, head to toe. Uncomfortable smile. "Hey, could you tell Mr. Falcone I'd like to come up? He ain't seeing nobody tonight." She leans in hushed. "Just tell him it's about Annika." He darkens and nods. Selina steps aside as he speaks low into the mic on his sleeve. He opens the elevator door for her and watches as she gets in. The doors close. Selina steps out of Falcone's shoreline loft, moving by an intimidating phalanx of guards to the drawing room, where Falcone appears. "Look who it is!" "Sorry to bother you." "No, it's fine, beautiful. I was just wondering if I could talk to you for a minute alone." As we hear a loud pounding knock, knock, knock. The doors swing open. We see outside the club, but no one's there. The twins staring out the door, confused. We follow them as they search for whoever was knocking, and then, bam! They spin to see the door shutting them out. We're moving through the heart of the club. Pushing through revelers, a figure enters frame, striding in an army jacket, cap, and duffel. Batman has entered as the Drifter, eyes searching. He spies what he's been looking for. A door. Keep out. He enters. A security guard notices and gives him chase, moves with him. We see the Drifter disappear around a corner. The guards disappear around the corner after him, hold in an empty corridor. The guard's body crashes out unconscious. Selina sits across from Falcone in his drawing room, who leans against the pool table, sizing her up as she grows emotional. I'm so worried. I don't know where she is. And I know you're a very important man. I was hoping maybe you could help me find her. I mean, she's been gone so long. I'm starting to think that she might be... She stops, tearing. I'm so sorry. Falcone eyes her carefully. That's okay. I understand. He offers some tissues. No, thank you. I have some. As she reaches into her clutch on her lap where the Glock hides, her fingers start to grasp it. When an alarmed voice calls,
Mr. Falcone!" They both turn, startled, as a bald bodyguard enters. Selina eases off the gun, taking out a Kleenex instead. "Vinny, didn't I tell you I was—" "I'm sorry, Mr. Falcone. I really think you're going to want to see this." Falcone sees that he's serious and nods. He turns to Selina. "I'm sorry, beautiful. I'll be right back." Selina nods, wiping tears as she goes. She hardens as she looks at the Glock, then leans to see the guard leading Falcone to a room where a TV plays. A door crashes open, revealing the club electrical room. The duffel hits the floor. The drifter's hand reaches in, seizing a portable rotary saw. TV light flickers in Falcone's eyes as he gazes in shock. Holy shit! We hear an off-screen newscaster. "The recording was provided to GC1 by Lieutenant James Gordon of the Gotham PD. I should warn you, the contents are disturbing." On the TV, we see the GC1 breaking news headline. "Reclusive crime boss recorded committing murder. Admits to being mafia informant." Selina's cell phone voicemail plays, and Falcone on the TV speaks. "Oh, he told you about that? Huh? A deal?" Annika on the TV. "Yeah, long time ago he said you gave some information on some drops thing." Watching the two men by the TV, we look back at Selina. She slips her hand into her clutch bag, gripping the Glock. She rises, heading for them, as Annika screams on TV. The rotary saw grinds into metal around power lines. Sparks fly, illuminating the bat cowl in the duffel. We slowly move to the back of Falcone's head, where the Glock lifts into frame. We hear a soft voice. "Hey, Dad." Confused, Falcone turns to look at us, startled to see the gun. We reveal Selina, Glock in both hands, trained on Falcone. The bald bodyguard turns, alarmed too. "What?" Close on Selina, emotion under the stillness of her gaze. "I'm Maria Kyle's kid." Falcone looks at her, stunned and unnerved. "Oh, just put down the gun, honey." Cutting him off. "This is for my mother." Selina is about to fire when the lights go out. With a bang, her muzzle flash catches the blur of Falcone ducking. The crowd in the club below react to the sudden dark in panic. The doors of the elevator screech open. A shadow sweeps in. As it passes, we see the elevator guard outside unconscious. From directly overhead in the elevator shaft, right below us the shadow raises. The grappling gun, the hook soaring to the elevator car 5 stories above. Silhouetted against the window, Selina and the bald bodyguard fight for her gun. Selina slams a heel on his knee, hobbling him with a sickening crack. She spins, a blinding roundhouse, and he drops. Selina spots a dim glimpse of Falcone darting for the door. She fires blindly, bullets ripping into the wall, while, outside, in the completely darkened elevator hallway, voices of panicked guards react to the gunshots. One guard yells, "Jesus Christ!" Another, "I can't see a goddamn..." And another, "Here! Here!" As he turns on a cell phone flashlight, light spills onto the 5 armed guards when an ominous screeching comes from the end of the hall. They all spin. The eerily open doors of the pitch-dark elevator. They exchange looks, spooked, then, drawing their guns, nod to the guard with the cell to check it out. He reluctantly moves to the doors, drawing his gun. They watch as he enters. Scouring with the glow of his cell, he sees nothing. Then he hears breathing. Dawning dread. He looks up at Batman, braced unnaturally against the ceiling. Light from below is distorting his features. An image from children's nightmares, face to face with the guard. Batman drops. The guard shrieks in agony, his cell smashing. The hall is thrust again into darkness. As the bootsteps pound, Batman's path through the hall is marked by staccato muzzle flashes as he pummels guard after guard, weapons firing involuntarily as their bodies fly. Back in the darkened drawing room, more flashes from Selina's gun reveal Falcone crawling desperately around the pool table, barely evading her. Selina turns the corner to find him. She's about to fire, when a force yanks her, slamming into the table. The bald bodyguard. She kicks him off, then, with another brutal stomp, hobbles his other knee. She grabs his head, whacking him out on the table edge. Selina spins back for Falcone, but he's gone. Thwack! Falcone slams her head with a pool cue. He climbs on her as she drops, thrusting the cue in both hands against her neck, choking her. Selina gasps, arms pinned, writhing. An eerie coldness in her eyes as he fights to snuff out her life. Furious tears spill from her eyes. You don't think this hurts me? My own flesh and blood? You made me do this. Just like your mother. When a shape looms, ripping Falcone off. It's Batman. Shocked, Selina drinks in air as Batman slams Falcone down onto the table, leaving him in a stupid daze. Selina grabs the gun, aiming it at Falcone, distraught, filled with fury. Batman holds her back. She erupts. He has to pay! Batman gently puts his hand on the gun. As she shakes, still panting, adrenaline surging, he says quietly, But you shouldn't have to pay with him. She turns to him, not understanding, still frenzied. You've paid enough. Something in that finally gets through. She relents. Batman watches as her eyes drift down, lost, reeling. Onlookers part. A stunned Penguin and twins among them, as Batman propels Falcone, who murmurs undeterred. Jesus, look at you. What do you think this is? You think you're going to scare me with that mask and cape? I'm going to start crying, some big secrets coming out? Batman slowly turns, rage now smoldering in his eyes. Let me tell you something. Whatever I know, whatever I done, it's all going with me, okay? To my grave. Batman gazes into his black eyes, restraining himself. Then turns to see Gordon waiting with a shotgun at the open front door. Falcone smirks as they reach him. You with Zorro over here? He leans in, hushed. Don't you know you boys in blue work for me? Gordon just glares as he and Batman both shove Falcone. Outside the club, Falcone's smile immediately fades as he sees a huge display of armed cops waiting in stoic silence. Guess we don't all work for you. Falcone is stunned. Gordon nods to Martinez to cuff him. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Falcone's eyes drift to Penguin and the twins, who've emerged with others from the club, all watching in disgust. Goddamn rat! What did you say? Enjoy your night at Blackgate, Carmine. Probably be your last. Oh, you're a big man now, eh, Oz? Penguin with a new sense of power. Maybe I am. Really, Oz, 'cause to me you were always just a gimp in an empty suit. The twins can't help but chuckle at that. The public humiliation suddenly embarrassing Penguin, he explodes. I'll spray paint your ass! Whipping out his Uzi, the cops freak, rushing him. When shots ring out, Falcone is hit. The cops pile onto Penguin, who submits in sudden panic. I didn't shoot! I didn't shoot! Pandemonium. Everyone's scrambling for cover as Batman looks up to see a rifle jutting out of a sixth-floor window across the street. He lunges for Falcone. As the rifle fires again, bullets explode into Falcone's chest. As Batman tackles him, they tumble to the ground. And the gunfire finally stops. Batman rolls off Falcone to find him bleeding out. When he notices a bright reflection in the pool of blood, he looks up to see it's from a lone flickering street lamp above, when something quietly dawns.
Bring him into the light. His head whips to the darkened window across the street. And you'll find where I'm... A voice cries as if completing Batman's thought. Up there! Everyone turns to see Martinez pointing to the window. Cops pulling out weapons. Batman turning to see Gordon. It's Riddler. Gordon struck, snapping into action, calling his men. Gage, on me! Martinez, round back! No one gets in or out of there! Cops rush the building, as Batman stalks purposefully alone in the direction of the window itself. A few cops remain, attending to Falcone. His face goes still, when a shadow spills over his lifeless eyes, revealing Selina above him, flickering streetlight flaring around her as she stares at her father, numb. We cut to a grappling hook crashing through a window. Batman catapults up into a rundown studio apartment. No one here. The walls are covered in images. Batman sees a sniper rifle by the window. He turns to an open window on another wall. He moves to find a fire escape outside, leans to scan the grimy alley below. It's empty. Front door smashed in. Gordon and cops charge. He's gone. Batman moves past cages of screeching rats to photos on the wall. Savage and the dealer. Mitchell and Annika, struck. Batman gazes out the window. Gordon does too, to see that most of the photos were taken from this spot. He's been here this whole time? Lieutenant, we got a witness here. Says she saw someone come down to the fire escape after the shots. She says he went into the corner diner. The guy's sitting by himself at the counter right now. Gordon and Batman exchange a look. Like an Edward Hopper painting, a lone, average-sized man sits at the counter, his back to the large window. A counterman sets a latte before him, then disappears. Into the kitchen, a TV above plays election results. As we push closer, armed cops creep into frame. Among the cops, we find Batman as he approaches, staring at the lone man in the window, transfixed. Close on the back of the lone man, as he meticulously attends to his latte with a plastic stirrer, we hear, "Not enough precincts in to call yet, but so far, Real is ahead of acting Mayor Tomlin by huge margins. Celebrations already beginning at her headquarters in Gotham Square Garden, where even Don Mitchell's wife and son have gathered to show unity. Police, hands up!" But the lone man just keeps stirring his latte. "I said put your goddamn hands up, you son of a bitch!" The man finishes stirring, slowly raising his hands, still pinching the little stirrer. He starts to turn, but before we see his face to reveal the show of force around him, the place is packed. Then, at last, we see him for the first time. His signature prescription aviators. He's pale and unremarkable, a nobody. A creepy half-smile forms as he stares at the cops, like he's been expecting them. When finally he speaks, gesturing toward the kitchen with the stirrer, as if they'll wait. "I just ordered a slice of pumpkin pie." Cops rush him, slamming him into the counter. Close on his sideways face, cheeks pressed flat beside his latte, his glasses smashed. Struck as he sees something past the cops, a figure gazes from outside. Batman. The Riddler holds Batman's eyes, smile growing, when Martinez rips his wallet from his pocket, finding 2 driver's licenses. Edward Nashton and Patrick Parker. "Which one is you?" A little grin. "You tell me." "All right, let's go, pencil neck." As they tear him away, we remain on his steaming latte, moving toward the cup, lifting to look inside at what the Riddler was working on, a work of latte art. It's a white question mark, scrawled in foam. Hold as sirens wail. The Riddler's studio apartment is crawling with investigators. Police photographers snap and videotape. The atmosphere is hushed and electric. Martinez, posted at the door,
watches election results on his phone, when a dark shadow wipes right by him. Martinez just catches it, but too late. "Hey!" We rove toward detectives, poring over mountains of Riddler's notebooks, ledgers, papers, so absorbed in their tasks they didn't notice as we arrive beside them. We reveal Batman, scanning scribbled titles on the ledgers. He cocks his head to read one. Struck renewal. On the other side of the room, Gordon confers with a forensic cop by a pile of yellowing, ratty notebooks. "What are all these? Diaries?" "Ledgers. He's got thousands. He's scrawled all over 'em. Ramblings, ciphers, codes." A detective on the phone suddenly shouts excitedly, "Got something back on one of the IDs. Edward Nashton. He works at KTMJ. He's a forensic accountant." "Accountant? Hey, Lieutenant, you really okay with this?" Gordon turns to see the surly cop gesturing beside Batman, who's now reading the renewal ledger. "What about chain of evidence?" Ignoring him, Batman looks up at Gordon with a foreboding stare. Gordon approaches. Batman hands him the ledger and shrugs to the surly cop. "He's wearing gloves." Gordon gazes at the ledger. The top sheet is smothered in writing. Scrawled right at the columns of numbers as Gordon reads, we see Batman stalk the room. Absorbing the clutter, including the shrine of mannequins wearing prototypes of the Riddler's torture devices. In Gordon's voice, Friday, July 16th. My life has been a cruel riddle I could not solve, suffocating my mind, no escape. But then today I saw it, a single word on this ledger, sitting on the desk beside me. Renewal. The empty promise they sold to me as a child in that orphanage. One look inside, and finally I understood. My whole life has been preparing me for this, the moment when I could learn the truth, when I could finally strike back and expose their lies. As Batman passes cages of agitated rats, a screeching grabs his attention. He moves for it as Gordon goes on. If you want people to understand, really understand, you can't just give them answers. You have to confront them, torture them with the horrifying questions, just like they tortured me. I know now what I must become. As the screeching escalates, Gordon flips more pages. The Riddler's scrawl becomes illegible, until it's nothing but angry scars of ink. Gordon is shaken by the display of insanity, until the intense screeching becomes too much. He glances up, seeing Batman by the cages. Jesus, I don't think that rat likes you, man. This one's not a rat. Gordon and the surly cop step closer to see, inside the cage is a rabid bat. It snarls, baring its teeth, wings beating. Beneath it is an envelope. To the Batman. Attached to a strange, bloody metal tool. What is that? Batman starts to reach in, but stops, shooting the surly cop a sardonic look. Okay with you? Knock yourself out. As a photographer flashes the cage, the bat hisses madly. Batman tensely reaches past it, carefully retrieving the envelope and metal object. Some kind of pry tool? Is it a chisel? It's a murder weapon. He killed Mitchell with it. Off of their look. The edge will match the floorboard impressions in the mayor's study. Batman opens the envelope. Another greeting card says, "Just for you." Inside is scrawled, "My confession." My confession? What's he confessing to? He already told us he killed Mitchell. Batman stares at the card with growing dread. This isn't over. Oh man, he's been posting all kinds of shit online. He's got like 500 followers. Real fringe types. They turn to a digital forensics cop on Riddler's laptop. Gordon moves to see, but Batman's eyes go to the wall above, to an enormous collage, a sea of defaced photos scrawled over it, the truth about Gotham. Batman steps forward, gazing at images of city officials, police officers, Riddler's victims, but most prominent is an image of young Bruce Wayne beside his father at the orphanage ceremony, their eyes etched angrily out. In the boys' choir behind them, a question mark encircles the head of a sad, scrawny boy in aviator glasses, who stares at the Waynes in awe. Next to him are the words, "If they only knew then what I know now." Batman sees a cluster of Batman tabloid headlines in the collage. Among them, a crude police sketch entitled "Gotham Terrorized. Who is the Batman?" Next to it, Riddler has written ominously, I know the real you." Batman stares, unnerved. "His final post was last night. Some video. It got a lot of views, but it's password protected." Batman turns to see what they're looking at. The post is titled, "The Truth Unmasked." Batman is hit by a sinking feeling as Gordon anxiously presses toward the screen. "Can you get in?" "Copying his drive now. It'll take some time, but we'll get in." Batman stares. The world is closing in, reeling. "I think I'm his last target." Gordon turns, struck. "You?" "Maybe it's all coming to an end." "What is?" "The Batman." Gordon looks confused when his phone rings. He steps away. Batman watches as Gordon speaks low. His eyes softly lift darkly to Batman's. He hangs up, unnerved. "Riddler's asking for you, at Arkham." Batman just looks at him, then starts to go, but stops. Gordon looks at him. When he says, like a farewell, "You're a good cop." Batman waits as the metal roll-up door rises in Arkham Prison, revealing Riddler. Seeing Batman, an eerie smile grows. Finally, Riddler speaks, glancing at the squalid surroundings. "I told you I'd see you in hell. What do you want from me?" "Want? If only you knew how long I've been waiting for this day, for this moment. I've been invisible my whole life. Guess I won't be any more, will I? They'll remember me now. They'll remember both of us." His smile fades. He looks into Batman's eyes ominously. "Bruce Wayne?" Batman's jaw is clenched, betraying nothing. Riddler's emotion rises. He looks at the floor, stewing with rage. "Bruce Wayne!" Batman is on edge. His eyes flit anxiously to a security camera recording. When Riddler's eyes snap back to his, the pause between them is excruciating. Then, bitterly, "You know I was there that day. The day the great Thomas Wayne announced he was running for mayor. He made all these promises. Week later he was dead, and everybody just forgot about us. All they could talk about was poor Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne the orphan. Orphan? Living in some tower over the park isn't being an orphan. Looking down at everyone with all that money. Don't you tell me. You know what being an orphan is. 30 kids to a room. 12 years old and already a drophead, numbing the pain. You wake up screaming with rats chewing your fingers, and every winter, one of the babies dies because it's so cold. But oh no, let's focus on the billionaire with the lying dead daddy, because at least the money makes it go down easy, doesn't it?" Glaring at Batman. "Bruce Wayne." Riddler quiets, ruminating darkly. The walls closing in. Batman looks away to keep from screaming. Riddler sighs. "He's the only one we didn't get." Batman lifts his eyes, stirring almost imperceptibly. "What did he say?" Riddler leans in conspiratorially. "But we got the rest of them, didn't we? All these sick, sleazy, phony pricks." Batman reels. The Riddler doesn't know. When Riddler suddenly softens, his tone turning almost vulnerable. "God, look at you. Your mask is amazing. I wish you could have seen me in mine." An intimate grin. "Isn't it funny? All everyone wants to do is unmask you, but they're missing the point. You and I both know I'm looking at the real you right now. My mask allowed me to be myself completely. No shame, no limits." Why did you write me? What do you mean? All those cards. I told you. We've been doing this together. You're a part of this. We didn't do anything together. We did. What did we just do? I asked you to bring him into the light, and you did. We're such a good team. We're not a team. I never could have gotten him out of there. I'm not physical. My strength is up here. I mean, I had all the pieces, I had the answers, but I didn't know how to make them listen. You gave me that. I gave you nothing. You showed me what was possible. You showed me all it takes is fear and a little focused violence. You inspired me. You're out of your goddamn mind. What? This is all in your head. You're twisted and sick. How can you say that? You think you'll be remembered? You're a pathetic psychopath begging for attention. You're gonna die in Arkham. Forgotten. A nobody. No, stop. He covers his ears. A child's tantrum. No. Arrgh! Angry tears stream. This is not how this was supposed to go. Silence. Batman watches Riddler fume to himself quietly. I had it all planned out. We were going to be safe here. We could watch the whole thing together. Watch what? Riddler sulking at the floor. Everything. But I guess that won't be happening now, will it? He glares up at Batman, and suddenly registers that Batman has no idea what he's talking about. Riddler is struck. Oh, you didn't, it was all there. You didn't figure it out? Relishing. You're really not as smart as I thought you were. I guess I gave you too much credit. What have you done? Riddler sits there. He leans in with sadistic pleasure. What's black and blue and dead all over? As Batman glares. You! If you think you can stop what's coming. What have you done? Riddler sinks silently into his chair, finally retreating into an eerie off-key Ave Maria by Schubert. Batman launches out of his chair, smashing a fist against the glass, but Riddler keeps singing. Batman stands, helpless, strains of Ave Maria rising hauntingly. A blade slashes the police seal on the door of Riddler's darkened apartment. Batman busts in, plagued. Folding his tactical knife, his eyes rove around the unoccupied space, poring over the details again. What did he miss? His mind is racing when... Hey, what are you doing in here? Batman spins to see Martinez in the doorway, hands on his gun. With no time for this, Batman shoots a terrifying look. Intimidated, Martinez thinks twice and releases his grip. As Batman resumes his search, Martinez steps in, feeling a responsibility to monitor the situation. He watches as Batman moves to the bloody metal tool, taking out his UV light bar and shining it. He picks up the greeting card. Hey man, I don't think you should be touching that. Another look cuts him off. Batman studies the card. Martinez glances at the tool, attempting conversation. Boy, this guy's a real nut job, huh? Killing Mitchell with a friggin' carpet tool? Batman slowly turns, struck. He gives Martinez a crazed look. What did you just say? Martinez smiles, sheepish. My uncle's an installer. It's a Tucker. The tool is missing a piece. Batman picks it up, stunned. He looks around frantically, finally spotting a suspicious snarled corner of the rug. He pulls the tool down and moves toward the snag. Martinez watching as he crouches to examine when, with growing dread, he begins tugging up the rug. Carpet tacks go pop-pop. Martinez freaks as evidence on the rug spills chaotically. What are you doing, man? Batman unveils a giant map of Gotham, scrawled onto the floor. It's incredibly detailed. Beside the map are frighteningly carved huge words. A real change. Batman stares at the words, gears turning. He lifts his head and looks at something across the room. Riddler's laptop screen. Batman enters the words, a real change, unlocking the video. Riddler in his hooded uniform, his warm tone weirdly incongruous with the ominous voice changer. Hey guys, thanks for all the comments, and special thanks to everyone for the tips on the detonators. I just want to say, this will be my last post for a while, and, with a surge of emotion, what this community has meant to me these weeks and months. Let's just say, none of us is alone anymore, okay? Batman stares as Riddler tamps his feelings down. Tomorrow's election day, and Bella Real will win. She promised real change, but we know the truth, don't we? We've seen Gotham's true face now. Together we've unmasked it. Its corruption, its perversion, masquerading under the guise of renewal. But unmasking is not enough. The day of judgment is finally upon us. Now it is time for retribution. Riddler picks the camera up and points it at the map on the floor as he walks. Batman rises to follow the same path. I've parked 7 vans all along the city seawall, and on the big night, they will go boom. Batman gazes down and sees 7 X's carved into the map. But when things go wrong, cities have a plan. But tomorrow, we will turn it on its head. Make their emergency disaster plan truly a disaster. When the vans blow. Alarmed, Batman peers down at the X on a Gotham street right under his feet, almost gasping, as we match cut to the same angle over the actual Gotham street. That moment, in the X's place is a van. As it erupts, part of the adjacent seawall crumbling, a rush of water floods in. We're back to Batman, spinning at the sound of more explosions. He bolts to the window to see fireballs rolling over the skyline. The flooding will happen so fast. Evacuation will not be an option. A new distant angle on the rising fireballs reveals Riddler peering out his cell window. He smiles. At that moment, a startling glimpse. A tsunami wave sweeps suddenly over shocked pedestrians, tearing the street apart. Those who are not washed away? Batman's head whips toward another scrawled intersection, drawn by the sound of distant, terrified screaming, as if the sound is coming from the map. We'll race through the streets in terror. The destructive wave, now black with debris, rips up cars, trees, lampposts, as people's screams echo. Batman's eyes fiercely search the map, assessing the crisis. Call Gordon. Martinez fumbling for his cell. Yeah. Celebrating crowds watch Bella's victory on jumbotrons and cells as emergency bulletins interrupt coverage. As breaking news hits higher ground at Gotham Square Garden, celebrations will turn to panic. People react, screaming. Some spot smoke in the sky. As the venue becomes the city's shelter of last resort, that's where all of you come in. Batman's eyes go to the comment board, finding chilling replies. What gauge? What caliber? Rifles are good. When the time arrives, I will already be unmasked. The pigs will have me in their custody. But that's okay, because then it will be your turn. A moving shot, following a dark figure, walking the rafters above Gotham Square Garden, pulling out a Riddler-style execution hood, rifle in hand. You'll be there, waiting. The hooded figure stares ominously below, where panicked commotion suggests news of the flooding is spreading. When the figure looks up, spotting another armed hooded figure staring back at him. They regard each other oddly, then nod grimly, when they turn to see a third Riddler figure arriving. Behind him, another and another. It's a small army of bitter nobodies in hooded Riddler outfits, hidden above the crowd, all meeting here for the very first time as they secretly prepare to strike. It's time for the lies to finally end. False promises of renewal and change. Batman watches in horror as Riddler concludes bitterly. We'll give them a real change now. We've spent our lives in this wretched place suffering, wondering why us. Now they will spend their last moments wondering why them. On Martinez, completely terrified, gazing at his cell. I can't get through. The lines are down. He turns to show Batman, but Batman is already gone. It's utter chaos outside the glass-domed building of Gotham Square Garden. Emergency vehicles, sirens, people running up the streets. First responders scream to crowds of terrified citizens, herding them to shelter inside the garden. Tending to the injured, a crisis escalating by the second. We spot a motorcycle weaving through the madness. Selina with her leather backpack, saddlebags on the bike. She stops at the roadblock along an intersection and hops off to move a sawhorse herself when a traffic cop stops her. Hey, road's closed. I'm trying to get out of town. Lady, we got bombs going off. The whole city's flooding. Now you're going to have to go inside the garden with everyone else. About to protest, Selina suddenly feels something. She looks down and sees black water pooling around her feet. The victory celebration turned to crisis mode. A mad crush squeezes through the doors, fighting through. We find Gordon, rousted from bed, urgently heading for a makeshift command post. Uniformed officers, med personnel, and firemen all talk at once. Gordon flashes his badge. MCU, who's in charge? I really don't know. We're all just trying to get a handle here, sir. We have an active situation. We need to sweep the building for explosives. Get the mayor-elect out of here. Where is she? A rifle scope prowls the panicking crowd, finding Gordon and cops pressing through. Crosshairs follow ominously, then swish across to find Bella, behind the festooned stage, surrounded by her team, peeking in and out of view as she gestures anxiously, arguing with a fire marshal. Reveal a magnified eye, blinking eerily through the scope. As the scope lowers, we see one of the hooded gunmen lying on his stomach in the rafters. Satisfied with his position, he lowers his rifle, opens a plastic ammo case, revealing 100 rounds. He takes one and begins to load. As we discover, other gunmen preparing their weapons on the rafters behind him. Gordon and the cops arrive to find Bella mid-argument with the fire marshal. Gordon notices Mitchell's wife and 10-year-old son standing nervously with the group. If we don't close the doors, we're going to have a huge problem. The water's already starting to breach. I thought this was the shelter of last resort. Yeah, for a hurricane, not if the whole seawall comes down. I'm not going to let those people die out there. Angry and distraught. All right, I'll go calm the crowd down so we can get everyone in. It's not safe for you here. Bella turns, seeing Gordon and the cops. We got to get you out, Miss Rael. I'm not going anywhere. We are under attack. Exactly. That's the problem with this city. Everyone's afraid to stand up and do the right thing, but I'm not. Excuse me. Gordon watches frustrated as she moves to the podium. Everyone, if I could get your attention. The unruly crowd won't quit. She starts to call out again when, in the corner of her eye, she spots the glint of a rifle up behind the lights. She recoils, Gordon suddenly reading her fear and starting for her, as a bang, gunfire erupts from the rafters. Bella drops as she's hit, Gordon launching to shield her. Pandemonium as more shots ring out from above. Gordon frantically drags Bella off stage into cover. He draws his gun, peering at the rafters. A torrent of muzzle flashes explodes, the gunman firing. Gordon peers through the scaffolding at waves of people screaming in panic, the scene ratcheting into unbearable tension. Gordon is horrified when suddenly, explosions rip percussively through the domed ceiling, unleashing a hail of glass over the gunman. A malefic phantom plummets through the roof. It's Batman. He slams into the rafters, barely in control, triggering his quick-draw slider, firing a harpoon line into the leg of a shooter on the beam across from him. Then a second slider on his other arm, harpooning another. Batman flips off the catwalk, yanking both gunmen off their beams, counterbalancing Batman as he swings under the catwalk and back up onto it. The shooters dangling below. This all happens in an instant. In shock, the army of hooded lookalikes turn and fire as Batman bounds madly through their assault. Taking hits, he leaps out across beams, wildly grasping one and catapulting himself up onto a group of shooters. With blinding speed, Batman attacks, snapping bones, popping kneecaps. He spots a terrified gunman reloading and starts for him, suddenly pulled off balance. Batman spins to see two of the bloodied nobodies gripping his cape, desperately trying to heave him down into the abyss below. Batman twists hard, winching the cape, yanking the nobodies into a flurry of knockout blows. Batman sees the terrified gunman lifting his weapon and spins to see another shooter. About to fire too, Batman dodging as the round rips into the terrified gunman instead. As he drops, the terrified gunman fires involuntarily, bullets tearing into the other shooter, but one shot smacks hard off the side of Batman's cowl. Seeing him dazed, the remaining gunmen unleash a firestorm, rapidly blasting Batman. Batman forced to retreat, shielding himself as they stalk after him. Down below on the stage, hundreds scramble. Gordon presses against panic to see Batman under attack. He turns to the fire marshal and cops. "Get me up there!" They leap from the stage into deep water, wading urgently past someone in the crowd. Selina. People jostle her as she fights to glimpse Batman. She pulls herself onto the scaffolding tower by the stage to see, worried, Batman stumbles collapsing. As the gunmen shoot, he sees fire extinguishers on the railing and rips a sticky charge from his belt. He slaps it on one and rolls it at the shooters, does the same to another and another. When all the charges blow, a huge cloud erupts into the air as Batman evaporates into the whiteness. The shooters anxiously venture into the fog. One probes blindly with his rifle. When Batman seizes the barrel, his finger taser zaps the metal. The gunman collapses. Batman clubs the shooters one by one with the rifle. He spots one crawling for a duffel and goes for him, as the gunman lifts out a shotgun, firing into Batman's chest. Batman careens off the catwalk, barely catching the edge with one hand. Gasping for breath, trying to pull himself up, but the pain is just too much. The shotgun shooter rises half in shock, hands shaking as he reloads. Limping to the edge, wild eyes peering from the executioner's hood at Batman, hanging below. Batman looks up helpless, trembling. The shooter puts his gun to Batman's cowl, finger on the trigger, when out of nowhere, a blinding kick knocks his gun free. It fires into the air as the gunman spins to see Selina. Leaping from the scaffolding, she hook kicks his head into the railing, catching him as he reels, ramming his face down hard again. The gunman crumples. Selina moves to Batman, losing his grip and fading. No time to lose. She leans down and grabs his arm, braces her heels on the railing, levering him up slowly until she collapses on the catwalk, his body on top of hers. She rolls him onto his back, gazing down, face close to his. He looks up, haunted, as if he doesn't see her. Struggles to breathe when she notices his chest. The blast has torn his armor. Buckshot lodged in exposed skin. A lot of blood. It's unclear how bad the wound is. He tries to sit up. She guides him back down, growing emotional, cradling his face, soothing. "It's okay. It's done now. It's over." Finally, he submits, his eyes now seeing hers, holding them, then gently closing. Eyes welling, she leans down to kiss his face, his lips. As she pulls back, his eyes open. For a moment they just stare, when Batman sees a shape looming over Selina. It's the battered shotgun shooter, whose foot slams the back of her head, stunning her. He drags her off Batman, unsheathing a hunting knife from his boot. She raises her arms to defend herself as he stabs wildly at her. Batman fights to get up, but he can't. As Selina struggles, he fumbles for something in his belt, an auto-injector, adrenaline. He jams it into his neck. He launches himself with a jolt, ripping the attacker off Selina in a violent frenzy, losing all control. Selina is stunned by Batman's unbridled primal rage when Gordon and the cops burst out a door to the catwalk. Gordon races to Batman to stop him from killing. "Hey man, take it easy, hey!" Batman stops mid-strike, Gordon's voice reaching him. He turns disoriented as Gordon gently pulls him back. Batman slowly stands, breathing hard, and turns, checking on Selina. As she rises, looking at him grateful, surprised, the depths of his feelings for her are now exposed. Gordon reaches down, pulling the hood off the shooter. "Jesus, who the hell are you?" The unknown man grins eerily. "Me? I'm Vengeance." Batman turns, struck by the sound of his own words in this killer's mouth, when a crash echoes below. Everyone spins except Batman, who continues to stare at the man, rocked. We hold on him as the sounds of panic and chaos fade away. When flickering lights in the arena pull him out of his trance, Batman turns to see the others. Complete silence. Down below he sees a 4-story glass wall behind the stage smashing open, as cascading debris floods inside, uprooted trees, cars, waves of black water swarming the scaffolding around the stage, which gives way all at once. Batman and the others watch people tossed into sweeping muck. Scaffolding towers topple, shearing electrical lines, powering the huge monitors and lights. Batman sees one line sparking angrily over the rapidly rising water, the wire threatening to make contact with the surface, jeopardizing the thousands half submerged. Gordon, Selina, and the cops watch helplessly. Batman withdraws his grapple gun, firing into the ceiling. They turn aghast as he swings out onto the power line. Batman pulls his tactical knife, bracing himself. As he hacks the line, sound comes crashing back. As an electrical blast surges through him, jolting him loose, he drops to the water below, splashing into it. Selina and Gordon watch in horror as all the lights go out. For a moment we wonder, is Batman dead? When he breaks the surface, gasping, alive, he scans the darkness around him, pulling something from his belt. It ignites. We see that it's a flare, the sole source of light now illuminating the thousands in the water all around him. He sees Bella and the others trapped in twisted scaffolding, in the still rising water. He starts quickly toward them, climbs the wreckage, heaving a truss aside to make an opening to let them all out. But as he reaches in, Bella and the group hesitate, intimidated by Batman's haunting, wraith-like presence in the flare's light. All except a boy, Mitchell's 10-year-old son, who reaches his hand up unafraid. Batman pulls him up. He turns to Bella, offering a hand again, and she takes it. As she clings to him, the others begin climbing out too. Nirvana's Something in the Way begins, as Batman uses his flare as a beacon, leading the masses through water, everyone following to safety. A mesmerizing sight. Bruce's voice. Wednesday, November 6th. The city is underwater. Extreme high and wide over lower Gotham. At sunrise. Light fills the sky. The island is completely submerged. The National Guard is coming. Revisiting key locations from our story, the flooded scenes of Aftermath appear serene, surreally beautiful. We see the half-sunk city hall, the facade ripped open. A lone dog paddles past the tops of traffic lights. Martial law is in effect, but the criminal element never sleeps. The diner where Riddler was caught, sun gleams in, a small fleet of Pyrex coffee pots, which float eerily. Looting and lawlessness will be rampant in the parts of the city no one can get to. The Iceberg Lounge, the empty dance floor now swimming in still water under shimmering stage lights. Bruce's voice continues. I can already see that things will get worse before they'll get better. Falcone's drawing room. Fresh, wet footprints lead to a lone figure seated in Falcone's chair. Penguin. And some will seize the chance to grab everything they can. Penguin sips scotch from Falcone's crystal tumbler, staring out over the city, his mind turning darkly. In bandages, Bella Real holds a press conference, Gordon among the embattled police officials around her. We will rebuild, but not just our city. We must rebuild people's faith in our institutions, in our elected officials, in each other. Together, we will learn to believe in Gotham again. As Nirvana swells, the roof is jammed with evacuees waiting to be airlifted from Gotham Square Garden, as first responders pull survivors through the skylight. I'm starting to see now. I have had an effect here, but not the one I intended. Vengeance won't change the past, mine or anyone else's. I have to become more. Firemen turn, struck by the sight of Batman. Caked in dried mud, he looks like hell. Heads turn as he carries an injured woman across the roof in his arms. People need hope, to know someone's out there for them. The city is angry and scarred like me. As Batman puts her into a med sled, the woman clutches him distraught. Batman stiffens, unsure how to respond. Our scars can destroy us, even after the physical wounds have healed. But if we survive them, Batman leans in, returning the embrace. The sobbing woman calms, releasing him, and the sled lifts. They can transform us. They can give us power to endure and the strength to fight. We hold on Batman, his silhouette, watching the woman ascend. A helicopter view of him at the same moment. A chyron appears on the screen. Batman Vigilante saves thousands in Gotham Square. We're looking at a TV in Arkham Prison. The TV sits in a guard station. Our view is partially obscured, sidelong perspective. We hear quiet moaning and reveal the Riddler, face smushed to the security glass of his cell, craning to see the story in complete anguish. Isn't that just terrible? Him raining on your parade like that? What is it they say? One day you're on top, the next you're a clown? Well, let me tell you, there are worse things to be. Riddler shrinks to the floor, totally despondent. Then, the unseen prisoner's voice. Don't be sad. You did so well. And you know, Gotham loves a comeback story. Riddler rises, peering out of his cell, but he can't see. Who are you? Well, that's the question, isn't it? Riddle me this. The less of them you have, the more one is worth. Riddler responds, then finally smiles hopefully. A friend? The unseen prisoner begins to laugh. In signature Joker style, the sound echoes us to a rundown Gotham cemetery. Selina stands at a grave. Maria Kyle. After a moment, she turns, tears in her eyes, heading to her bike. Her stray cats poke their heads out of leather saddlebags. You're leaving. Selina turns, startled to see a figure in the shadows. Batman, his motorcycle behind him. She's self-conscious. Jesus, don't you ever just say hello? He emerges, a sense of unfinished business between them. Where will you go? I don't know, upstate, Bloodhaven maybe? Then she grins. Why, you asking me to stay? Batman says nothing. She darkens, worry in her voice. You know this place is never going to change. With Carmine gone, it's only going to get worse for you. There's going to be a real power grab. It'll be bloody. I know. But the city can change. It won't. I have to try. It's gonna kill you eventually. You know that. Silence. Then she tries to lighten things. A smile at an impossible thought. Listen, why don't you come with me? Get into some trouble. We can knock off some CEOs. Trust fund types. It'll be fun. The bat and the cat. It's got a nice ring. When she sees he's not looking at her, she follows his gaze to the bat signal in the clouds and smiles ruefully. Who am I kidding? You're already spoken for. He looks back at her. She nods at the sky. You should go. Then she turns, getting on her bike. When, Selina? She looks over. A pregnant silence as they stare. Finally he speaks, resigned to letting her go. Take care of yourself. She nods a sad smile, starts her bike, heading off. Batman watches her go, mounting his own. He revs the engine, accelerating after her, and for a moment they chase through the cemetery. Echoes of their motorcycle scene early in the film, until they split off opposite ways. On Batman staring hard ahead. Finally, his eyes move to the side mirror, unable to resist one last look as she recedes. His eyes lift again, racing toward the city, a look of sheer determination. We hold as our view angrily vibrates with his ever-increasing speed, faster, faster, until we cut to black. The end. Hey guys, thanks for watching. As always, if you made it to the end, leave a like and comment. I love reading your comments. I read every single one. It's a very small channel. Despite the fact that some of my videos get over 100,000 views, because I guess people click on it thinking it's just a movie, but that would be illegal. Obviously, this channel will never be monetized, but something that you can do free is just like the video, comment, and as always, subscribe. See you guys in the next movie reading.